Live Talk.
Michelle's in Wichita, Kansas. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Your station.
Gino's with us in Wichita. Hi, Gino. How are you?
Your voice.
Frank is with us in Wichita, Kansas. Hi, Frank. How are you?
It matters. Dave Ramsey on 1480 AM and 1025 FM, KQAM. This is a Steckline communication station, K273CX, FM 102.5 and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge, Kansas. Sales and service of the big rigs and trailers, plus ag diesel equipment repair on and off the farm.
I'm Stephanie Austin. Derby police say a young girl remains hospitalized after a near drowning last night. Around 6:45 at Rock River Rapids, a lifeguard identified a 9-year-old girl in distress in the pool and pulled her from the water and began CPR. Derby Fire and Rescue responded to the call within 2 minutes. The girl was transported by Sedgwick County EMS in critical condition to a Wichita hospital. There have been no serious incidents at the water park since it opened in 2004. Rock River Rapids will be open today as usual. A house fire in South Wichita has left 10 people without a home. Firefighters were called around 5:20 to the 1400 block of Mount Vernon near Southeast Boulevard. One firefighter suffered minor injuries. The Red Cross is assisting 4 adults and 6 children displaced by the fire. The family's dog died in the fire. Officials say the house is likely a total loss. The cause of the fire is under investigation. It's time to turn it over to the sports desk. Here's Anthony Gorges.
Purple and Black, the Kansas State alumni team, takes the court tonight. They play at 8 o'clock. They will be taking on Team Colorado. The winner of that game will take on the winner of the Marquette Golden Eagles alumni team or Fort Hood. The semifinal game is on Saturday, July 27th at 1 p.m. The second semifinal game is the Aftershocks Wichita State alumni. They'll be taking on Sideline Cancer, the team that defeated the self-made Kansas alumni team on Thursday night. The second semifinal game tips off at 3 p.m. on Saturday. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Anthony Georges.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us if you want Viagra at the lowest prices. Never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-357-1583 today to save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-357-1583 to take your call now. Call 800-357-1583. That's 800-357-1583. Again, 800-357-1583.
Baseball season is in full swing. It's a good thing Matt secured his denture with Super Polygrip. Now he can enjoy the snacks as much as the game.
Polygrip. Hey, how are you? So great to see you.
It's that time of year when the family meets up.
Hi, come on. Get together, guys. Family photo.
It's a good thing Jack cleans his denture with Polydent so he can enjoy the whole day with confidence.
Polydent.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has wrapped up a private meeting with the sometimes critical freshman lawmaker Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
In our caucus, we have our differences. Respect that instead of making a big issue of it.
Though Pelosi says she remains against impeachment for now, she says other Democrats must represent the views of their districts on all issues. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler says he's filing a lawsuit today to demand the Justice Department turn over secret grand jury material that's behind the Mueller report findings.
Before we can do anything else, we have to educate the American people not only as to the allegations and to the conclusions of the Mueller report, but as to the evidence underneath it. That's the precondition for doing anything.
Consumer spending was strong in the second quarter, but the impact of trade disputes pushed economic growth down. The GDP rose 2.1% from April through June. On Wall Street, the Dow up about 20 points. I'm Mike Moss.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Tough going for corn. Kansas City wheat. September corn down 3 1/4, 4.15 1/4. Later months are down. September KC wheat down 5 1/4 at 4.32 1/4. December down 4 at 4.51. Soybeans better. August beans up 5 1/2 at 8.88. September beans up 5 1/2 at 8.93 1/4. Bean meal, bean oil are higher as well. August live cattle up 15 at 108.80, but the back months are all down. August feeders up 30 at 143.10. Once again, all the later months are in the red, unfortunately. August hogs up 52 at 86.47. October hogs up 57 at 79.22. So mixed numbers across the livestock complex. Cattle mostly lower. Hogs are doing well. Cotton is not having a good day so far. October cotton down 22 points at 63.59, while December cotton is down 3 points at 64.16. August gold is now up $3.20 at $14.1790. Market information from Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Derby Mattress. No dancing animals, no gimmicks. Your locally owned hometown mattress store at 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, mostly sunny and 93, wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy and 68, wind gusts over 20 miles an hour. Sunny and clear tomorrow, still breezy, high 94, low 72, sunny and 95 Sunday. I'm Amp Harold, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 11:06, it's currently 79 degrees.
News at the tops and bottoms all day, right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform, rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. The boys are back.
Is it really a Friday? Is it really? I've been looking forward to this day for a while now. Hey, welcome into the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting all over social media, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, all that good jazz. Great to have you for the ride today as we kick off the end of the week. It's a Friday. Let's make it a free-for-all Friday. Come on. What today is. That means it's your show. You get to decide what you want to talk about. You get to vent. You get to talk about it. I get to try and help you through it the best I can. What do you say? Come on. Let's do it. All right, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. I want to hear from you today. We have a big show. A few guests coming on the show today, which I am excited to chat with all of them today as we get into our campaign election season and the primaries, as you know, coming up very quickly here in the city of Wichita, surrounding areas for all the elections for mayor, city council, school board, all that good jazz. So coming up on the show today at 12:30, we have Brock Booker, one of the candidates for Wichita mayor. He'll be joining us on the show. Looking forward to him. And also at 1 p.m., we have Cheryl Logan coming on the show, as she is the current incumbent for the Wichita at-large school district position, and that one is up for re-election. She's running for re-election for that seat, so we'll chat with her coming up in just about 2 hours from now. So a great guest coming on. Until then, it is open lines to you at a free-for-all Friday at 316-721-8255. Although I have to say I am a little frustrated. I am. Now, I've blown off a few different discussions on social media today. Some people trying to say some really dumb things. They just don't make any sense to me. So I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to them. However, I am frustrated with a few things going on. One of them, mind you, being the House Representatives passing this 2-year budget deal with a 284 to 149 vote. It makes sense. As in the vote, not the actual bill, because the bill doesn't make any sense at all. And I'm glad. Thank you, Congressman Roger Marshall. Thank you, Congressman Ron Estes, for not voting for this budget bill. This brings up, again, what we talk about all the time, about compromise. And apparently compromise means we give up everything in order to get nothing so that they can get everything. But we did it, and we were able to pass it, so therefore it was compromise. This budget bill is absolutely atrocious. Do you realize that in the next 10 years, according to this budget and the 10-year outcast from it, in 10 years, the federal government will be consuming 97% of the entire GDP of the United States? Now, the last I heard, and it's been a little bit, but the last I was aware of, it's been floating around like 18 to 20%. That whatever we create in the nation, whatever you and I, workers, you're going to work, you're on your lunch right now, you're working, you're doing your thing, you're doing the grind, you're bringing money home to take care of your family. You've created an economic growth, an economic movement in this nation. You have created something. You did not take it from somebody else. You did not take it from somewhere else. You grew it and you created it yourself. You're creating a product out of raw material for the consumer to buy or for the government to buy. I don't know, but you're making a product. You are creating your own slice of the pie. This whole socialist garbage about taking from somebody else is ridiculous. Create your own piece of the pie. Don't try and take it from somebody else. That's what capitalism does, and that's what the economy does. That's what the GDP is. It is the GDP, gross domestic product. It is you creating wealth, creating something in the nation, and then based on taxes, the federal government takes part of that and says, now we consume this because we need it for spending, we need it for social programs, we need it for X, Y, and Z. In 10 years, they'll be consuming over 90% of the GDP. That is insane. That's crazy talk. We have removed the debt ceiling for 2 years, until 2021. We have spent almost $400 billion in additional money in this budget, with an estimated over $1.7 trillion to the national debt over the next decade. And the vote was 284 people supporting this. How can anybody think this is a good idea? Now, Donald Trump, unfortunately, is the one that's promoting to try and push this. He thinks this is the best deal he can make, and unfortunately, I almost think he's right. That's not on him. He's encouraging people to vote for it because that's the best deal he can make. If he would have said we're going to cut spending, which is what he originally tried to do, if he said he was going to cut the budget, which is what he originally wanted to do partially, then it wouldn't pass because right now the Democrats control the House of Representatives. So they control. That's where the power of the purse comes from, is essentially the House of Representatives. They control that. They're pushing a massive spending increase, and he's tried to include, at least if we're going to spend money, we're going to spend it on military, we're going to spend it on defense. We're going to rebuild back up. Now, again, when I say that, I mean we're increasing military and defense spending by 3%. We're increasing social program spending by 4%. So, you do have that going against you. But at the same time, we did try and revitalize the military with this budget. But that's the best we were going to get out of it. But it really shows not necessarily a reflection on Trump, but the absolute sickening pit of my stomach feeling that I get when we hear that we're going to raise spending that much, when we're going to increase spending that much, when we're going to spend money on all these ridiculous social programs. Let me repeat that, ridiculous social programs. And when you actually get Republicans to vote for something like this. And thank God that our congressman did not. Now, I don't know about Steve Watkins. I have not seen a vote on him yet for this one. But Ron Estes, Roger Marshall voted against this House bill, and I thank them for that very much. Ron Estes coming out with a statement on the budget vote right now. Today's spending bill will add $2 trillion to the federal debt over the next decade, increase our nation's debt to 97% of GDP by 2029 by raising budget caps $322 billion and suspending the debt ceiling until 2021. This deal gives Washington free rein to increase government spending at will for the next 2 years while kicking the can down the road. Despite the Trump administration's proposal of $574 billion in cost offsets, the final deal includes just $77 billion in offsets, not enough to justify the massive increase in spending. Although I am glad the bill continues to includes important investments in our military and protections of pro-life policies, the overall spending levels are dangerous and irresponsible. While I voted against today's budget, I'm committed to working with the President Trump to cut government spending and grow our economy to protect future generations of Kansans and Americans. So it's perfect. It was going to pass. Democrats have the majority. They rammed it through. Vote no against this thing. You're still supporting the president. This is not a shot at the president. I don't know if the president's going to take it that way or not. He does at times and takes it personal. But at the same time, who could possibly vote for a budget that takes 97% of the GDP within the next 10 years? That's crazy. Who actually supports a budget who thinks that raising the debt ceiling and you can spend as much as you want to over the next 2 years is a good idea? Now, Trump likes it because we get to reinvest in the military, and he has the flexibility in order to reinvest in building the wall by moving money outside of where they originally are and can actually appropriate money to building the wall. So he sees this as an opportunity to get his agenda done, and he wants this to pass. Now, I don't know if it's going to go to the Senate or go through the Senate. Obviously, it's going to the Senate because they passed it. I don't know if they're going to pass it in the Senate. I don't know. I hope not. I hope they come back and say, what in the world is this? What is this? And I say, thanks, we'll file it. And filing it is in like putting it in the shredder and shredding it and starting all over and say, no. We are going to do something different. We are going to cut spending. We are going to reform different programs. We are going to get some appropriations bills back into this thing. We are going to do it responsibly. We're not going to raise spending unless it's for the military because, again, that's pennies compared to social programs. We're going to reform many social programs, and then we can actually get a solid bill. And you know what? I hope that's what we do. And I don't care that we go into a government gridlock. Personally, I don't care. Let it do it. Make it happen, baby. Make this happen. Let's go into a government gridlock. Let's not pass a budget and then use that as an election tool, a launching pad into the 2020 election, because then we can just do a few appropriations bills that could maybe be reformed, and then we can move forward little by little, and we can just go. You know what? They say this is going to be the fear that we pass this so that way we wouldn't have a government shutdown again. I know. They're afraid. They're terrified of this government shutdown thing. I say shut it down. Let's save some money. Let's go ahead and just shut down the agencies again. Let's go ahead and work on some appropriations bills. I know this is a radical statement, quote unquote. It's not radical, but it's radical for D.C. It's illogical. Let's put it that way. It's illogical for the happenings in Washington, D.C. That's not the way things operate because they don't want the government shut down. They don't want to cut the spending. I've almost gotten to the point to where we shouldn't even worry about the federal budget anymore because there's no way to ever change it. There's no way to ever reform it, and we should just give up on it. And I've never been one to give up on anything ever. I'm a tenacious little guy, which is why I've been able to, get my wife because I was tenacious. But at the same time, it's so frustrating that we go in and we say we need to make sure the government stays open and we need to get a budget. Okay, let's do a budget. Let's stop worrying about Russia because that's dumb. Let's stop worrying about the Mueller hearings. That's dumb. Let's stop worrying about Donald Trump's tweets. That's dumb. Let's focus on what we need to with our jobs, and that is actually making sure we have a balanced budget under our debt ceiling of what we're supposed to have and at an appropriate rate, and then we can cut spending, we can cut taxes, we can raise the economy, have the GDP continue to grow at a 4% rate or so, and not consume 97% of our GDP with the federal government. That would be called socialism. That would be called totalitarianism when they consume 97% of our GDP in the next 10 years. That would be called fiscal irresponsibility by raising our debt $1.7 trillion over the next decade. That's crazy. 316-721-8255. Your thoughts, the 2-year budget agreement happening as the House passes it, the Senate going to look at this. I hope they don't pass it, but we'll see where it goes. I don't really know. I don't know where we could go from there, and I don't know what we could get out of it because even some of the progressives, here's the thing, the progressives voted against it. Some of them did because they think it didn't go far enough, raising social program spending. They were concerned that Donald Trump could have the flexibility to move money over to funding the wall when they don't want him to have that kind of flexibility. They don't want to reinvest in the military. They're going actually against what constitutional values are by saying we want to kill off the military in their funding while we raise funding for social programs, which is constitutionally the opposite of what we should be doing. But, shocker, people don't actually care about the Constitution any longer. They want their social programs, want the free goodies, and then I love it. There was actually a bumper sticker on one of the dorm rooms in college that I went to, and I'd have to walk past it all the time, and I'd laugh at it. I almost wanted to say something, but I didn't. But it would say, Maybe we should. It said something in regards of like we should fully fund education while the military has bake sales to build their bombs, which is cute. It's cute. Now again, they obviously have no concept of the federal budget, but many people believe that. Those on the other side of the aisle actually believe that we have more money in defense and military than anything else, and that's not true because that's only about 18 to 20% of the federal budget. But they don't care. They really don't care. 316-721-8255. We'll take a break. We have lots to get to, including stuff here in the state of Kansas. I do want to get to that. We have the economic growth as we see economic growth, which is the good news on this front, even though we're using it all to spend more money rather than pay off debts. But we are seeing economic growth in the nation. The question is, what is Kansas looking like for the state when the national overall economy is going up? Most states are growing. Most businesses are growing in those states. Are we doing the same here in Kansas, or are we going the other direction, and where do we fall on that radar? So we'll talk about some of that and more. Plus, I want to get your thoughts on school as we do talk to one of the candidates for the school board here in Wichita. I want to talk about the school year. Missouri punting their start date for school another week. People upset about that. And then that really brings up the question, what should school seasons look like? Should it be as set right now? Should we actually do a full year thing with just a couple little breaks here in between throughout the year? Or how should the school years actually look? So we'll talk about some of that and more coming up on the show as well. It's a Friday. It's a free-for-all Friday. I want to hear from you today at 316-721-8255 here on The Voice of Reason on a free-for-all Friday.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
A gentleman named Bob recently called my weekend show. Bob owns a homeland security consulting firm, but even he got scammed online. Kim Commando with your Friday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by SimpliSafe, the best security system for your home, period. Don't live in fear. Get yours at simplysafekim.com. Bob needed to upgrade his Yahoo small business account. He had a few questions, did a Google search for Yahoo, and called. The number wasn't Yahoo. Scammers pushed their number to the top of Google, and Bob was tricked into calling a convincing technician. The person told Bob that his account was being hacked as we speak. They tried to sell him a $600 firewall package, which could only be purchased using Google Play Bucks. Bob hung up and shut everything down. When he rebooted, Bob discovered ransomware on his hard drive. The whole charade cost him $200, plus a bruised ego. The moral of the story, don't Google helplines and end up like Bob. I'm Kim Commando. When you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. You need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed.com for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
You're a small business owner, and there's nothing small about what you do. That's why Dell Small Business Technology Advisors give you trusted advice, one-on-one partnership, and tailored tech solutions, like computers with Intel Core processors, servers, storage, networking, plus thousands of top-brand electronics, accessories, and software. No matter your technology needs, Dell is here to help your small business do big things. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
High school football is almost here, and your one-stop source for all your high school football is your High School Football Guide from the Mid-America Sports Network. Stay tuned in and hear where you can pick up your copy. Catch each team's season schedule, read about each team and coach, and follow your favorite team all season long. It's the Mid-America Sports Network Football Guide, and it's coming to a location near you.
Mr. Davis, is bourbon really just a cool weather drink?
We at Davis Liquor know that bourbon is popular year-round. And right now at Davis Liquor Outlet, Maker's Mark 1.75 liters are just $46.99 and 750 mLs $25.99.
Davis Liquor Outlet, each store independently owned and operated, excludes 31st and Meridian.
Hello, my name is Mark Gietzen, and I'm running for mayor of Wichita. I am a Marine Corps veteran, the owner of Gietzen Aerial Services, the president of the Kansas Republican Assembly, the chairman of the Kansas Coalition for Life, and a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I love Wichita, and I want to see Wichita prosper and grow. The best way to assure a thriving community is to attract growing businesses, which in turn provide good jobs. The best way to attract and keep great businesses is to limit or reduce the tax burden on them, particularly the city portion of property taxes. I will never raise your taxes. Wichita is a beautiful city, but little things like bad sidewalks, so common in the poor neighborhoods of Wichita, could easily be fixed for a small amount of money and would add dramatically to the overall positive image of our city. Please vote Mark Gietzen for mayor on August 6th.
Hi, this is Brian Davis.
It most certainly is.
And this is Blake Davis with some cool beer specials for this hot summer. All Coors, Miller Lite, and Bud Family 24-pack 12-ounce cans, just $16.99.
Each Davis Liquor outlet is independently owned and operated. Excludes 31st and Meridian.
Keeping you locked and loaded. Armed American Radio on the Big Talker, KQAM.
All right, 25 minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice Reason. You know what's really frustrating? Trying to open up an app on your phone, and it's one of those free apps to where they have all the different advertisements on there, and you try and open it, and four times in a row, you go to open it, it plays the ad, you go to cancel out of the ad when it's done playing, and it closes the app, and you have to reopen it. You reopen it, the ad pops up, you let it run its course, you cancel out of it, and it closes the app altogether as well. 4 times! Oy vey. Tell you what, 316-721-8255. Welcome in. Coming up on the show today, we have a lot to get to, as we mentioned. The ICE raid that happened in Kansas City, if you remember, just last weekend, and the media, the sob story, the absolute sob story that came out of that with, he's a father, and the 11-year-old was in the back seat, and the 11-month-old baby daughter was going to the doctor, and they were in there, and then the police, the ICE individuals, the federal agents, ended up breaking the window, dragging him out, and arresting him. And how terrible that was. It wasn't because he couldn't just do it willingly and just go because, he's a criminal. But they had to focus on the emotional side of it. Well, it's been confirmed that the wife has confirmed that he has been officially deported back to Mexico. Now, this would be the second or third time he's been deported back to Mexico before he snuck back across the border illegally to come back to the family. But he has been deported. They've been confirmed that he is in Mexico now. And the media, again, they have shown the pictures of him holding his kids, him being the dad, him doing the family thing. And they're trying to show, of course, the emotional thing there. So, the heartless conservative Republicans who say you broke the law, don't come here illegally, that's not okay. That's not valid. We need to show the emotional side of him being the dad, him being the father, him being the family guy. Because that's what it's all about, right? He's just trying to be with the family, man. Let me tell you, if I was in a situation where I could potentially be in trouble legally, I would make sure that doesn't happen, and I wouldn't do that, so that way I'm not torn from my family. So again, victimhood, passing the blame, not really your fault. It's everybody else's fault. I'm just doing what I think is right, and regardless of whether that's okay with the law or not, doesn't really matter, because it's all about just, doing my thing. So there you go. Passing the blame, and well done, media, for showing your true bias there by showing how evil and terrible the ICE agents are. But he's officially been to Mexico. Maybe, if he's a responsible dad and a responsible individual, he would try and come back through in the legal process by, doing things the right way this time, so he didn't have to sneak back across and then try and hide from officers and then play the victim when they, drag him out of a car. Which I find kind of entertaining. I'm sorry. I find that kind of humorous. Of course, all the legislators and all the politicians saying, well, we're going to get to the bottom of this and we're going to investigate. But they did it because he refused to. It's kind of like when you drive and you try and, drive away from a cop and you run away and you had the high-speed pursuit, and then you get out of your car and you try and run. You're trying to not follow cops' laws, so you get in even more trouble. Yeah. When they say, please step out of the vehicle because we need to arrest you, and you don't, and they have to break in, then you know what? I don't feel really guilty. I don't feel really bad for that. And the glass shattering all over the children. and the family, and the 11-year-old just crying, I want my daddy, I don't know what's going on. You know what? Then the dad wasn't very responsible for those children, were they? So they can post all the pictures they want to about, him being the family guy. It doesn't seem to work out that way, though, does it? 316-721-8255. We'll take a bottom of the hour break. We'll shift gears a little bit when we come back. Get your thoughts on the ice. Is it inhumane to tear the dad apart from the family because he broke the law? Is that inhumane? Is it? Or is it just, the thing that should happen because we've broken the law? We'll touch on that, plus we'll shift gears a little bit. Here in Kansas, job growth, economic growth, where do we stand according to the rest of the nation right here in our state? We'll see that when we come back here on The Voice of Reason.
Now, back to the KQAM News Desk.
We are filing an application for the grand jury material underlying the Mueller report.
House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler says his investigation into Russian interference in the president is not ending.
That information is critically important for our ability to examine witnesses, including former White House counsel Don McGahn, and to investigate the president's misconduct.
Also on Capitol Hill.
No, I'm not trying to run out of the clock.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi denying her support for further investigation of the president and his finances is an effort to run out the clock on possible impeachment. Pelosi met today with her sometime rival, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
It's like you're in a family. In a family, you have your differences, but you're still family.
Though U.S. trade talks with China resume next week, the White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow says he doesn't hold out much hope for a quick settlement of the one-year-old trade war. On Wall Street, the Dow is up about 30 points. I'm Mike Moss.
At Walgreens, we know that your day doesn't stop for diabetes. So when you've got places to go and people to see, count on Walgreens every day to get expert diabetes advice 24/7. Find all major brands of testing supplies like Walgreens True Metrics in-store and online. And download tools to help you stay on track, like our 5-star mobile app with Pill Reminder. At Walgreens, we are your diabetes go-to. Stop by and talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
Bacon Fest is on at Wendy's. Wendy's sells the most bacon cheeseburgers in America, so we're celebrating with Bacon Fest and turning up the sizzle with the bacon double stack and the $5 Biggie Bag. Get ready for tons of hot and crispy bacon hits, like the $5 Biggie Bag featuring a bacon double stack, 4 nuggets, small fries, and a small drink for just $5. Only with Wendy's Bacon Fest. Based on servings among quick service restaurants over a 12-month period ending March 2019. Source the NPD Group Press. Price of participation may vary in Alaska and Hawaii.
Asmussen.
Mid-America Network News. A Topeka man has pled no contest to crimes linked to the drive-by shooting death of a 5-year-old girl. 22-year-old Jesse Deshawn Hughes made the plea this week in the July 2015 death of Lily Coates Nichols. The Topeka Capital Journal reports the plea deal requires Hughes to spend 25 years in prison. Authorities say Lily was shot in the head while in the back seat of a car driven by her mother. FEMA has notified the state of Kansas that 9 additional counties will be added to the FEMA disaster declaration following severe weather damage April 28th through July 12th. President Trump has approved Governor Kelly's request to add the applicants in these counties now eligible for public assistance to restore damaged public infrastructure. The additional counties are Bourbon, Comanche, Crawford, Dickinson, Douglas, Edwards, Ford, Gray, and Riley. I'm Stephanie Austin.
Swing into summer at Wichita Public Golf Courses. It's the best value in town. Find a course for all skill levels, located conveniently throughout the city. Come meet our friendly staff and take advantage of the great deals. You can purchase a season pass to play all city courses at a reduced price. We have passes for singles, couples, and a junior pass. Don't forget, you can host your tournaments with us too. Ready to hit the greens? Just use the Golf Wichita app to schedule your tee time or visit golfwichita.com.
It's that time of year when the grill is always the best cooking option, so stop by your favorite Yoder Meats location to pick up some great meat for the grill. Steaks, chops, burgers, brats, marinated chicken, we've got it all, plus a nice variety of specialty items that you won't find anywhere else. Our Yoder Meats bundles and butcher bags are great options for buying in bulk and saving, and for a special treat, how about our homemade cinnamon rolls, cakes, and cookies? Don't forget the snack sticks for a quick bite on the go. Follow us on Facebook for all the latest information and specials. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
It's Mary from Wildwood Cellars. Our pure elderberry concentrate is especially popular this time of the year, and people ask us what makes ours so much better than the rest, and I have to say it's how we make it, so that none of the good properties of the elderberries are ever lost. Nothing is ever dehydrated, and we add nothing to it. No sugars, syrups, alcohols, additives, or preservatives, just pure concentrated elderberry with less than 1 gram of carb or sugar, so you can take it straight or add it to any juice or drink of your choice. Online at wildwoodcellars.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, mostly sunny and 93, wind gusts up to 25 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy and 68, wind gusts over 20 miles an hour. Sunny and clear tomorrow, still breezy, high 94, low 72, sunny and 95 Sunday. I'm Amp Harold, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 11:35, it's currently 83 degrees.
For guest lineups, daily blogs, and show podcast, visit the Voice of Reason page at kqamradio.com. Andy doesn't tolerate name-calling.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
But if you want to try, call the show at 316-721-8255 right now. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
You know, I've tried to clean up some of the conversations that I have on social media to where they're not just arguing and just back and forth because it drives me nuts. There's been a conversation that I've been having today where the individual, I mean, they don't even bring any fact. They don't talk about anything. They're just like, oh, dumb Trump supporters, dumb Republicans, dumb racists, dumb... And I was like, I have no clue where you're going with this. There's no even substance to it whatsoever. So, you know, well done. It shows, again, the name calling, the deplorables, the ignorance, the blindedness that some have just because they have hatred. So much hate, so much anger. They say we're the angry ones. We're not. We just like to be happy and follow the rules and go about our happy, hunky-dory way. Whereas others, they're just so angry. So angry. Welcome in 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. This portion of the Voice Reason is brought to you by Cheney Door. We have all the fixes for your ups and downs. It's CheneyDoor.com, CheneyDoor.com. When you have garage door trouble, they're the ones that can actually fix it for you. CheneyDoor.com. Let's get into a Kansas update.
Today in Kansas.
All right, I'm ready.
So hat tip to the Sentinel, and I got to give these guys kudos first off. We've had Dave Trauber on the show many times before with the Kansas Policy Institute, along with the Sentinel KSMO. You can visit them online, sentinelksmo.org, and you can check those guys out. They have some really great info. They report on stories that the mainstream media will not cover. And I know there's a lot of news out there, and I mean, that's easy to say, be like, oh, you didn't cover this story. There's so many stories that anybody could find anything that's not being covered and report it, but important stuff. Important things that need to be covered instead of trashing Republicans and trashing the Republican legislature and trashing, you know, President Donald Trump and doing whatever the mainstream media likes to do. It's time to talk about factual information once in a while and actually report on that. And the Sentinel does a great job. Their whole mission was to report facts and to hold government and media accountable. So they report a lot of things on what media does as well. But they came up with a story a few days ago, about a week ago, and they had talked about growth, business growth in the nation by state. And where does Kansas actually fall? New Mexico is number one. And this is, by the way, under the Trump administration, the Trump economy, the GDP growing 3.5%, 4% growth, with unemployment really low, with businesses bringing manufacturing back to the United States. This is what it's looking like across the nation, and things are looking really well in most states. Most states. Now, here's the thing. You need states that embrace it. That's the challenge, right? You have to find states that actually embrace the economic growth and the opportunity with the low taxes, with the less regulation, with opportunity for manufacturing. You can embrace it or you can fight it. Now, if you fight it, you're not going to grow very well, right? We may be cutting taxes nationally, but you don't allow the tax return to come back to the people. You raise taxes at the statewide level. You raise spending at the state levels. You fund more social programs and jazz. Yeah, how well does that work out? And where does Kansas rank on that list? We'll do that here in just a second, but I want to take a phone call on our Free for All Friday at 316-721-8255. Line number 1, good afternoon. Who's this?
Scott.
Scott, what's going on, sir?
Well, I mean, when it comes to opportunity, I mean, you got a bad governor who he's not interested in opportunities. He's just interested in special interests. The same way with the mayor here in Wichita. I mean, he's involved with special interests and making sure they stay happy. He's not interested in the public, whether they have economic growth or a quality of life growth. I mean, they have no development plan for underdeveloped communities in this town. And so nobody's growing. I mean, maybe the same people who already had money are doing something, but everybody else is not doing anything. So even President Trump can't deal with these boss hogs.
Well, I will say that, number one, when it comes to special interests, I would say that special interests are, I mean, every politician has a special interest. So whether, I mean, and some are good, some are bad. I mean, I'm a member of the NRA, and the NRA is a special interest, and therefore I support the NRA. If I was an elected official, you know, the special interest in saying, hey, I want you to advocate for this agenda. You're a conservative. I want you to fight for the Second Amendment. I'm going to donate to your campaign. I'm not necessarily concerned about special interests. Every politician has them, so that's not really an issue
but
there.
You have that special interest that oppress the interest of the whole community here.
True. There are some
Puerto
that are more.
Puerto Rico is a good example of people rising up and saying, hey, you know, we're tired of this guy running his special interest program. We want something that helps the people. Unfortunately, the guy who replaced him is no good either. But they're going to have to find somebody in their elections who can do something.
Sure, you're right.
And we got to change Wichita, too.
Well, and there's the thing. I mean, you're right. There are special interests that look only for their agenda and nobody else's, and they don't have kind of a parallel agenda or goal or mission of what they want to see is what the people want to see as well, whether it's nationally or at a state level. When it comes to job growth, I mean, I will say I agree that we need to see more job growth. We need to see more incentives. We need to see more business coming here, and we need to diversify, I think, a little bit, and that is partly with the city, that is also partly with the county, and that is also partly with the state. And if the state does not create economic incentive for any business to come into the state, it's really hard for a city to bring them in as well.
Well, they don't have any economic planning committee, whether it be the county or the city here, and if they do, they need to get some new people who knows how to do it, because I'm not seeing any economic growth. I'm just seeing like going in circles.
Sure.
They're not doing anything. They're not bringing in any new businesses. They're not creating any new jobs. I mean, this mayor probably couldn't even spell the word job.
Well, let me ask you this, guy, and I want to take another phone call here in a second. So with the mayor's race coming up here in really in about a week and a half when it comes to the primaries, do you have anybody on your radar that you do support?
Well, I'm still looking, because I want to hear something about economic plans. I'm hearing people talking about quality of life, but I mean, that has to also include an economic plan. I'm not hearing that right offhand. I just know who I don't want to vote for. So I'm looking for the candidate who's trying to grow Wichita and make it better for everybody.
Okay. Very interesting. Very good. Well, Scott, I appreciate it. We're going to have on one of the candidates coming up in about an hour from now, Brock Booker. He'll be joining us on the phone, and we're going to try and get all the candidates on running for mayor before the election on August 6th. I don't know if we'll get them all on, but we're going to try our best. So keep listening in and keep listening to their platforms and what they have to say. Also, make sure to come out and check out our Wichita Mayoral Candidate Forum as well to listen to it. And I know that is going to be one question that we will be asking is economic incentives and job growth here in the community, so you can listen to it that way as well. Appreciate the call very much, my friend. 316-721-8255. When it comes to the state as a whole, I want you to guess. Let's play a little game here, shall we? I want you to guess where on the scale between 1 to 50 the state of Kansas is when it comes to confidence and businesses growing in a state when it comes to incentives. When it comes to actually business, and this is a perfect tie-in with what you just said, Scott, with business growing in the nation at a state level because of the economic incentive that President Trump has offered us. Have we embraced it or have we rejected it? Where does Kansas fall? Kansas is actually number one and the only one with negative business growth in the nation. I know. Here's that tip to the Sentinel, KSMO.org. Kansas is the only state in the country with negative new business growth since President Trump has taken office. Negative 1%. We're the only state that went backwards. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you could possibly think we're the only state? This is also including California. This is including Maine. This is including Nevada. This is including all the progressive states, New York even, that's doing very well, actually. We're the only state in the nation with negative business growth. Why? Maybe it's because of a retroactive tax increase. Maybe it's because massive taxes on the evil LLCs. We had to get rid of those LLC loopholes, right? Got to be able to tax everybody. Maybe it's because of the high income tax. Maybe it's because we haven't found any balance at all when it comes to income tax, property tax, sales tax. And we have all of them that are going up. This is really a game show joke, isn't it? Because Kansas, you would think, would be one where we have an opportunity to do well, and we're not at all in any way, shape, or form. Negative 1%. The highest on the list, New Mexico, at 29% growth since Trump took office for business growth, is number one. That's insane. Bloomberg looked at this is a Bloomberg report, by the way, looked at new business applications from fourth quarter of 2016 and compared them to the applications to the second quarter of 2019. Yet when Kansas new business applications are looked at within this time period, there is a bell curve of growth that peaked in mid-2017. But almost simultaneously with President Trump taking office, Kansas legislators stuck citizens and most small business with the largest tax increase in state history. Pass-through business taxes are taxes individuals have been exempt from state income tax from 2013 to 2016, but that exemption went away in 2017, and marginal tax rates also jumped up in 2017 and again in 2018. Total general fund tax collection jumped up 21%. Going from $5.8 billion to a little over $7 billion. Tax revenue rose $7.5 billion this year, with almost all the increase coming from an 11% jump in income tax collection. What does that all mean? I just read a whole lot and regurgitated a whole bunch to you. What does that all mean? That means we massively increase taxes. You know, Governor Kelly's whole argument saying that we need to, create a new foundation. We need to revitalize. We need to reinvest in our agencies. We need to refund all of our agencies. Lies. Total lies. Everything lies. Lie. None of it true. Absolutely. 100%. Because they were getting more money than they've ever received in their lifetime as an existence of an agency here in Kansas. We're spending more money than we've ever spent here in Kansas as a state government all across the board. We continue to fight for more education and funding and all the other garbage. Not that education's garbage, but how we're actually funding it is garbage. The Supreme Court bullying us in that way. We've received more money in the state than ever before while we decrease in population, while we decrease in business growth, or lack thereof business growth, and we're still receiving more money, which means we're squeezing that apple pretty darn tight, aren't we? And we are the number one only state in the nation with negative job growth and business growth here in the country. Think about that going into an election next year as we want to promote Medicaid expansion, as we want to continue to have any type of progressive Democrat agenda moving forward in the state. Ponder those things for just a little bit, will you?
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Yeah, we're looking at some negativity when it comes to our corn and wheat. September Kansas City wheat down 5 at 432.5. December down 4 at 451. September corn down 4 1/4 at 414 1/4. December down 3 1/4 at 424.5. August soybeans up 5 1/4 at 887 3/4. September beans up 5 1/4 at 893. The products are coming along nicely. August soybean meal is up 80 cents at 304.70. September's up $1 at 306.50. August bean oil 24 points higher at 28.51. September soybean oil is up 26 points at 28.67. So a good look across the soy complex. Unfortunately, however, corn and Kansas City wheat not faring so well. We continue with the sharply mixed numbers in the livestock complex. August live cattle up 12 at 108.77. October down 2 at 109.87. All the back months are mixed as well. August feeder cattle up 55 at 143.35, but then after that, everything gets dicey. September unchanged, and October feeders down 27 at 143 even. So mixed numbers through cattle. Hogs are up all the way across. August hogs up 17 at 86.12. October hogs up 40 at 79.05. And each of the back months is in the green when it comes to hogs. So we'll call it mixed numbers across the livestock complex. Cotton is mixed today as well. October cotton down 22 points at 63.59. December cotton is up 24 points at 64.43. So we're looking at sharply mixed numbers through many of our ag futures markets here on Friday. September crude oil is currently up 29 cents at 56.31. October is up 27 cents at 56.43. Market information from Mid-America Ag Network.
We're out here at Rusty Eck Ford doing a live broadcast from 11 to 1. A lot is going on out here, 7310 East Kellogg. I'm here with Mike Sell. Mike, this is something you're not going to want to miss.
That's right. Hey, I got to tell you, here at Rusty Eck Ford, you know the one thing that everybody loves most is price sells cars. You're going to get the very best price up front. No haggling, no messing around. You find that perfect vehicle, we're going to make you a deal, and we're going to make it happen fast. You know, time is money, too. So get on out here to Rusty Eck Ford and take a look at like brand new F-150s. The F-150 has been the #1 selling truck for over 42 years now, and there's a reason for it. Best dependability, best reliability, the most technology, and I tell you, if you want a truck that's going to work, the F-150 is going to get it done. Plus, you can have luxuries like you're going to have in BMWs, Mercedes, and things like that. With quality, it's even better than those vehicles. At Rusty Eck Ford, like I said, price sells cars. So you're not going to pay a lot for your F-150. In fact, you can come to Rusty Eck and you can pick out any F-150 on the lot. You're going to save $2,500 off the MSRP just like that. You're like, oh, that's not very much money. But there's more because you still get all the incentives. You still get all the savings that come with the purchase of that truck. It's going to save you as much as $11,750 right off the top. Plus, it doesn't stop there because we're going to throw in a Green Mountain Grill Daniel Boone pellet smoker for no additional charge for everybody that buys an F-150 from us this weekend. This is a $600 MSRP. It's even got Wi-Fi capability. You throw your food in, put the pellets in, plug it in, let it go, and I got to tell you, in a few hours, you're going to have some of the best tasting barbecue you've had anywhere. So get out here to Rusty Eck Ford, get your #1 F-150, get your #1 grill, save more than ever before right here at 7310 East Kellogg, or check us out online at rustyeckford.com. And remember, price sells cars.
Thank you, Mike. We're out here 11 to 1. Come on out, 7310 East Kellogg.
Baseball season is in full swing. It's a good thing Matt secured his denture with Super Poly Grip. Now he can enjoy the snacks as much as the game.
Poly Grip. Hey, how are you? So great to see you.
It's that time of year when the family meets up.
Hi, come on. Get together, guys. Family photo.
It's a good thing Jack cleans his denture with Polydent so he can enjoy the whole day with confidence.
Polydent.
Keeping political talk trendy. This is The Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
The top of the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Wrapping up on a Friday today. It's crazy how it's a Friday already, isn't it? It goes by so fast. It goes by way too fast. Welcome in 316-721-8255. I'm wondering how quickly they're going to turn around and say that the reason that we have job growth or a lack of job growth here or business growth in the state is because of who? Oh, yeah, that one evil guy that everybody hated that hates puppy dogs and children that, left, and they say good riddance to him, and we hated him so much. Oh, yeah, that was that Sam Brownback guy, right? Yeah. That's right. We hate him so much that he's the fault. He's the reason why we have business growth that's actually not doing well. When, in fact, what's really funny and the reason that progressives despise the Trump tax cuts at the federal level, it was even worked on and created partly by the guy who crafted the tax breaks and the tax plan here for Brownback in the state of Kansas. I know, right? So Trump does it at the federal level. Boom, it explodes. 3.5%, 4% GDP growth. Everything's great. We do it here in the state of Kansas during a time of an economic recession nationally with Obama, and we don't recover. We don't do very well, but we're maintaining at least. So we come in, we reverse the Brownback policies. Remember, we got to be fiscally conservative. So fiscally conservative, we got to raise your taxes.
Unlike the last two record-setting downturns, Kansas finds itself now completely unprepared. We have no margin for error. That's why we must be cautious, we must be conservative, and we must be fiscally responsible.
And that usually means by raising taxes retroactively, punishing businesses to where they don't want to come to the state. Look, I'm with many individuals who say we need to get more jobs here in the Wichita area. We do. I love the idea that we see more aerospace coming in and opening up jobs. That's great. That's awesome. Re-embracing, making sure they're not going anywhere. We need to diversify, but it's very difficult to do so when there's a state that punishes the pass-through tax for employees, the LLCs, when the businesses have to pay ridiculously high taxes, when we have to pay high sales tax, when we have to pay high income tax. Who wants to come here to work, and what business wants to come here to try and find people to hire? I don't know. But it's obviously showing. And it's Brownback's fault, though, right? Because we tried to do that, and business was stagnant, not really growing. And then Trump comes in, things start booming, and we say, no, we want to go the other direction, and we don't have that opportunity. And now we're again, imagine that, out of California, out of New York, out of Florida, out of Ohio, out of all these other crazy places in the country that despise Donald Trump with a passion, they're still seeing economic growth while we're not. Now, I want to take this with a grain of salt a little bit, maybe just for a second, and maybe talk about agriculture and how agriculture is very difficult. It's very difficult for agriculture to grow because of the way the commodity prices are, the way the trade is right now. So can that have a part of it? Maybe. But there's not business coming in necessarily that's new business coming into the state. And I don't know if there was. The business that is agriculture kind of already is here, isn't it? I could be wrong on that. But the agriculture business that was here hasn't gone anywhere. At least I hope not. But I don't know how much new business of agriculture actually comes into the state on a regular basis. We want more aviation. We want more, forestry. We want more just retail sales and more small business in there. We want more manufacturing. We want more diversification of other types of industries that we could do very well. And we're the one state that didn't. We're the one state that didn't. Why? That should be a common sense question. And as yesterday, as I talked about, and I really, 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 really wanted to find some type of happy, harmonious union where Republicans, Democrats, everybody alike could hold hands and sing Kumbaya and say, you know what, we actually agree on something, because we can't really find that anywhere today. I really want to find that. Can we at least come to agreement that taxes, regulation, and government spending kills business? Can we agree on that? I want to hear from someone on the other side of the aisle to please either agree or disagree with me one way or the other, but that high taxes, high regulation kills business. Can we agree on that? I'd love to hear that. 316-721-8255, because right now when we are at the negative bottom end of the totem pole here, we got a ways to climb up. And the fact that we're not climbing means that something's wrong and we need to address it. And when we hear Governor Laura Kelly say that we're supposed to be conservative and we're supposed to be fiscally responsible, and we're not conservative and we're not fiscally responsible because we've raised taxes 3 years in a row, because we're massively increasing our state spending, then we have a serious problem. And even and look, this is from her her budget as well. So where do we go? We have a Republican-led supermajority in both chambers of our state legislature, and this is what we've gotten so far. When businesses have retroactive taxes that get put on them to cover for the first 6 months of the year when they weren't anticipating it, when individuals have state taxes, income taxes that they have, and they have to owe the state of Kansas money when they file their taxes, people will get angry, people want to leave, people don't like it, businesses are not going to come here, and we see what we're seeing with this story. So first off, hat tip to the Sentinel for actually reporting it. Second off, shame on the state government for actually allowing that to happen. And for the few conservatives that are fighting for it, thank you. But we need more of them. And with a governor that wants to be fiscally conservative but tax people more, Crazy. More money going in there, and yet the private sector's dying. Gee, I wonder why. No one can put that comparison together, right?
Now this important message from Continental Truck Accessories at 6701 South Broadway.
Hi, I'm Bob Shippers.
And I'm Terry Mishak. We're the owners of Continental Truck Accessories.
Stop by our showroom at 6701 South Broadway and we'll help you customize your truck or SUV. Choose from a large selection of floor mats, toppers, lids, bed covers, Nerf bars, grill guards, and other accessories. Continental Truck Accessories is the exclusive Wichita dealer for guarded spray-on bed liners.
Show your truck all the love it will ever need from Continental Truck Accessories.
The ultimate golf experience is at Willow Bend Golf Club in Wichita. Our people make the difference, and you can tell when you look over the course. With single-member packages available, young executive memberships, collegiate memberships, and student memberships, we truly offer something for everyone. Willow Bend Golf Club, a private club with a personal touch. Call today about becoming a member at 316-636-4653. That's 316-636-GOLF, or go online to willowbendgolfclub.com.
This is a Steckline Communications station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud.
Bill O'Reilly here, Friday, July 26, 2019. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. Members of the House heading back to their home districts today, the beginning of their summer recess. The Senate will adjourn next Friday. Neither chamber will return to work until the second week in September. In the meantime, the crisis on the southern border will continue, with the federal government failing to pass any meaningful legislation to stem the tide of migrants and illegal narcotics pouring into the USA. So while our elected representatives enjoy their vacation, a total of 44 days for House members, let's take a look at what the Border Patrol will be dealing with over the next several weeks. We begin with the human element. If the next 44 days are anything like last month, border agents will detain 130,000 people attempting to illegally enter the USA. That includes more than 44,000 single adults, 84,000 as part of a family, and nearly 11,000 unaccompanied children under the age of 18. Of those taken into custody, about 860 will have criminal records. Next, the drug trade. While Congress is enjoying their break, U.S. Border Patrol agents nationwide will seize close to 100,000 pounds of illegal narcotics destined for our nation's streets. That includes 70,000 pounds of pot, 11,000 methamphetamine, 3,000 pounds of cocaine and heroin, 13,000 filed under other. That's basic drugs that nobody really knows what they do. Now, drug consumption, of course, leads to crime, child abuse, even death. Something for elected officials to ponder as they lay on the beach. Then we have the gangs trying to make their way into America. During Congress's 44-day recess, about 200 members of violent gangs will be arrested by the Border Patrol. Half of them, MS-13 members from El Salvador. Remember, those are just the ones that law enforcement agents catch. Most illegal border crossings of people and drugs are successful. So let's hope members of Congress enjoy their time off. Unfortunately for the rest of us, the drug smugglers, human traffickers, and violent gangs aren't likely to go on vacation. They will be very busy doing what they do. Right back with the message of the day in a moment. A massive data breach of home titles and mortgages may have exposed your home and bank loans to home title thieves. If you've received robocalls or mail stating you're pre-approved for loans or credit cards, thieves may already have you. They're after money, of course, and they get it by forging your home title so it looks like you sold your home. Then they'll take out loans against your home and stick you with the payments. And listen, no insurance, bank, or identity theft program protects you. Home Title Lock does. For pennies a day, Home Title Lock puts a barrier around your home's online title to keep foreign and domestic thieves away. So if you've received robocalls or mail for pre-approved credit cards or loans, you need to move, and fast. I got you 60 risk-free days of home title lock protection to get you through this current breach. Register your address now to verify you're not already a victim. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
There's a reason that people shop and repeat shop at Heartland Bicycle. Whether it's a kid's first set of wheels to bikes for the weekend warrior, the round-the-blocker, or the competitive rider doing the Continental Divide. And Heartland Bicycle is serious about making sure you're taken care of with accessories, clothing, helmets, footwear, eyewear, and cycles. The best of the best in Giant, Salsa, Gunner, and TerraTrike recumbent tricycles. Heartland Bicycle, 111 North Mosley. Learn more online at heartlandbike.com.
It's Mary from Wildwood Cellars. We've won over 600 awards and titles for our wines, but the most important thing is we make wines that taste good. With over 40 to choose from, dries to sweets, meads made with honey, sangrias, and even a jalapeno wine, you'll find the wines you love at Wildwood Cellars, where you can try before you buy. The tastings are free at the northeast corner of Maple and Ridge Road in Wichita, or the main winery right next to the Mulvane Turnpike exit, or online at wildwoodcellars.com.
Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day, taking a left. Some Americans are surprised by the far left turn the Democratic Party has taken in its quest to win back the White House. Just a few years ago, it would have been political suicide to advocate open borders, health benefits for foreign nationals in the country illegally, taxpayer reparations for slavery, and abortion for any reason up until birth. Those are all radical positions, but now most Democrats running for president embrace them, along with amnesty for illegal aliens already here. So what exactly is going on? Well, first of all, the national media is supporting many far-left policies, trying to push the country away from President Trump, whom they despise. Also, the far-left presence on social media is much louder and more threatening than moderate positions. So if you oppose the radical agenda, you may be attacked, sometimes viciously. This intimidates opposition to the far left, as some are afraid to go up against it. A vivid example of that is the boycott strategy used by radical groups, which threaten corporations if they support conservatives. That brutal hammer has been extremely effective, as many businesses cave into the pressure that might hurt their bottom line. The radical left's goal is to harm and smear traditional Americans, making it easier to recast the USA as a quasi-socialist country that imposes so-called equality through income redistribution and social justice. The far left has succeeded, at least somewhat, with great help from the media, in convincing millions of people that traditional America is an unjust nation full of white privilege and male dominance. And this is not a subtle campaign. To mark the 4th of July, the uber-left New York Times announced that America has never been a great country. The Democrats have largely adopted the radical agenda, as the nation saw in the debates. A traditional Democrat like Joe Biden is attacked by radical Senator Kamala Harris, and there's great celebration in the liberal precincts. It is absolutely fascinating to watch this, but a bit frightening as well. If Ms. Harris or Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren or most of the other Dems ever achieve power, America as we know it would disappear. So what would take its place? Well, last week I visited Germany, and that system is what the far left really wants. The government in Berlin controls pretty much everything the German worker does. If you want health care, it's not free. You have to pay a tax for it. But then, after the payment, you can get served by any hospital at any time and any doctor, but you don't get to select the doctor. Also, you have to pay local taxes and a 19% value-added tax on everything you buy. That means if you want a refrigerator, a car, or any luxury item, even clothing, you have to pay 19% on top of the price. The result is that most German workers cannot save much money. They cannot improve their economic circumstance. The money goes to Berlin, which then doles it out to people who don't want to work, etc. If that's the system you want, that's what the Democrats are offering. And that's a message. Coming next, something you might not know. Well, you've been hearing about gold all over the news, and prices keep going up. Experts warning a recession may be coming, and it's time to prepare. A recent analyst this week says he sees gold going up hundreds of dollars per ounce to hit $1,700 an ounce. That's why I recommend that you contact the Hartford Gold Group now to learn more. To get you started, the Hartford Gold Group will give you a free silver coin. All of my radio listeners will get it. And if you're listening right now, you can get the coin from the Hartford Gold Group. No purchase is necessary. All you have to do is call them. 877-444-GOLD-GOLD. 877-444-GOLD-GOLD. Give them a call today to claim your free coin and get the information. Available for a limited time only. 877-444-4653. 877-444-4653. Please call today.
Hello, my name is Mark Gietzen, and I'm running for mayor of Wichita. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, the owner of Gietzen Aerial Services, the president of the Kansas Republican Assembly, and the chairman of the Kansas Coalition for Life. I love Wichita, and I love life. I believe that all human beings should be equally protected by law. Since abortion is an act of violence against a defenseless individual, I want to make Wichita a sanctuary city for the unborn. While our right to life is fundamental, one's quality of life is also important. I would like to make Wichita's water the cleanest in the nation. When we turn our water faucet on, we want water to come out, not soup, and certainly not a soup that contains a known developmental neurotoxin and an unnatural form of chlorine that irritates sensitive skin. Help make our great city even greater. Vote Mark Gietzen for mayor of Wichita on August 6th.
Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. According to the American Automobile Association's annual survey, nearly 100 million Americans plan on taking a trip this year. Most over the next few months in the summer. So, how are we spending our well-deserved time off? It turns out we are hitting the road. Most travelers surveyed are vacationing within the USA, with 33% traveling around the country, 28% exploring their own region, and 22% staying within the borders of their home state. Popular road trips include the California and Southern Oregon coastlines, Northern New England, and North Carolina's Blue Ridge Parkway. All are great destinations, take it from me. Now, those of us leaving on a jet plane are likely visiting one of these top 5 vacation destinations: London, Rome, Vancouver, Canada, Dublin, and Orlando, Florida, where 1 million daily visitors make the pilgrimage to get their picture taken with a cartoon mouse. On average, U.S. employees receive 15 days of paid vacation a year, although 52% of Americans do not use the vacation days, all of them anyway. Incredible. The average person spends around $1,200 on vacation. The average family of 4, $4,000. Across the pond, our friends have more time but earn less. France guarantees 30 days paid time off for workers. In the summer, the country is divided into Julyists, those who start their 30 days in July, and Augustists, those who start in August. Very little gets done during this downtime in Europe. With so much time to relax, I guess the countries aren't worried about their averaging 9% unemployment rate. So before the summer ends, you might make time to get out there and see a few things. It may confirm your suspicions that the USA is the greatest place in the world. My favorite part of traveling is coming home when the U.S. Customs agent says, "Welcome home, Bill." Sends a chill. Right back. It's an uncertain world out there, you know that. Disaster can strike at any time. So you need to be prepared to protect yourself and your family. One way to do that is with freeze-dried food. It tastes good. It's healthy. Can be stored for 25 years. That's why I'm happy to tell you about a company I recommend, Wise Foods. I have experience with them myself. During Superstorm Sandy, I lost power for 7 days. All of my refrigerated food done. But my food supply from Wise Foods was as fresh as the day I received it. Visit Wise Food Storage, one word, wisefoodstorage.com/Bill, and explore their starter kits and long-term emergency food options. They are even offering free shipping plus a big discount of 25% off for my listeners. So please go to wisefoodstorage.com/Bill, wisefoodstorage.com/Bill, or you can call 855-269-0501. That's 855-269-0501. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.
It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform, rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. The boys are back.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, welcome into the Voice of Reason. It's hour number 2 of the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker 1480, if I can talk today. Let's try it again. 1480 on the AM side. 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting all over social media, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Make sure to check us out on the Voice of Reason page, the KQAM page, the personal page on Facebook, on YouTube, youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio's page, subscribe to it, like it, watch it, all that good jazz. Say good morning, say good afternoon, say hi, whatever you want to do. Thanks for checking us out each and every day, especially today on a Friday and on a Free for All Friday. Let's do it. Come on. Today's the day where you get to decide whatever you want to talk about. Bothering you, troubling you, doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter to me, but let's have some fun with it. What do you say as we get to work through the troubling issues of the day? Uh-huh. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pulls hotlines. We'd love to hear from you today. There is a couple big stories that are breaking right now that we'll get into in just a second. Coming up on the show in about 10 minutes, we have Cheryl Logan. She is the current incumbent for the Wichita School Board, the big at-large district. She'll be joining us and talking to us about the coming up elections for the Wichita School Board, which that is, outside of the mayor's race, the only other primary that we have going on Tuesday, August 6th. We have the mayor's race, and then we have the at-large district race for the Wichita School Board. So if you're in Wichita city limits and you're within the Wichita School Board district, you will be voting for the at-large district, and there are, 4 candidates, I believe, for that one. So Cheryl Logan, the current incumbent, the current sitting individual for that seat, she will be joining us here in studio in just a few minutes, and we'll chat with her, and looking forward to doing so. At 1 o'clock, we have Brock Booker. He is candidate for mayor, and he'll be joining us on the phone to chat with us about his race as well. So we'll continue on today as we really get to do what?
It's time to get to know the candidate.
So we'll do that here in just a bit. But first, here's some breaking news that's going on right now. Actually, there are a couple pieces of breaking news, and we'll get to each one of them. But the big one that's happened just within the last hour or so posted, we have the breaking news out of Topeka, Kansas, and hat tip to KSNT.com for this story. But Chief Justice Lawton Nuss has officially announced his retirement off the Kansas Supreme Court, effective on December 17th. Now, this is 2 weeks after his colleague, Justice Lee Johnson, had announced their retirement for him on September 8th. For those of you that don't follow politics too terribly much, you're probably thinking, gee, why are numerous Supreme Court justices leaving the Supreme Court now? what's the reasoning for this? I'll tell you what the reasoning for this is. If you remember back into the legislative session, there was this crazy, wild idea that State Senator Ty Masterson had proposed the last day of the session, where he said that, you know what, maybe we need to go to the process that everybody else does, that the United States does when nominating Supreme Court justices, where the Supreme Court has to go through an oversight committee from what? The Senate. I know. That's not the way we do things right now. Is that right now, here's the way the process is done. And for those of you that do know, that's great. For those of you that don't know, that don't follow this quite as much, here's your little civics lesson for the state of Kansas for the day. And right now, we have the Bar Association that nominates an individual. They nominate 3 individuals. They vote, they nominate, poof, they get 3 candidates. The governor gets to choose one of those, and then poof, they get on the Supreme Court. That's it. So the oversight that we supposedly have, we don't have. And we've been talking about this for years. We need to go back and get rid of this process because we have zero oversight. The governor kind of sort of gets to have a say. So I guess when candidates, or when you and I say, well, transparency, and we get to have, since we elected the governor, governors get to choose. We trust them because they're our representative in our representative government. That's not really the case. Because right now we're getting crappy option A, B, or C, depending on what the Bar Association wants us to have, not what we get to choose. So State Senator Ty Masterson comes up and says, we are going to create a constitutional amendment. We're going to work on this. We're going to do it next session. We are going to have a constitutional amendment to go back to the way things used to be and the way things work in the rest of the country, pretty much, where the governor chooses somebody, the Senate does a hearing, they vote on them, and they confirm them, which means all 3 branches of government gets to have actually a checks and balance system to nominate a member of the Kansas Supreme Court. And because of that threat, and because of that type of transparency, look at the politics at play. They do not want a Republican-led branch of the legislature, being the Senate, to have oversight on a progressive governor nominating people for the Kansas Supreme Court. The Bar Association, already made up of lawyers predominantly on the left side of the aisle-ish, for the most part. The governor right now that is far on the left side of the aisle, they have the opportune moment. Lawton Nuss, Lee Johnson, they were looking at retiring in the next few years anyways. Politically now is where the politics gets to come into play. What's the opportune time to do it? Do it before they change the process. Do it before they change the process. Because right now, they can ram through as many progressives as they want that's going to be on our Kansas Supreme Courts for the next 30 years. As you know, politically today, it's always the good idea to quote-unquote load the courts, which is what everybody always wants to do. Barack Obama, and look, both sides do it. We put in people who are more traditional conservatives who actually interpret the Constitution on an original basis, as opposed to the living document ones where they think that it changes and reforms whenever, something happens and it's the fad of the day and the flavor of the day. Then all of a sudden the Constitution changes to that. That's not the way I personally see it, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly, but they show their political agenda based on a living document, based on what they interpret it to be on the flavor of the day, as opposed to what it was intended to be originally. And that's both for the federal government and for the state government as well. So now we have the loading of the courts by Governor Laura Kelly and the Bar Association going into before the new legislative session. And I've been asking, because this has been to my knowledge based on some legislators that are reaching out to me, letting me know about this, which thank you for that, and I appreciate that very much. I always love when I get this information that I don't always run across when it's breaking at that time. So thank you for that. I said, is there any way to stop this? Is there any way to say, you know what, we're going to put you guys on hold with your nominations, put it on hold. We want to do a constitutional amendment, and therefore we can let the people decide. Because what happens here, again, the governor won't have a say. The legislature passes the bill to say we want to put it on a constitutional amendment. It goes on to the vote next fall. We get to decide, and then it becomes a constitutional amendment right there. So if we're going through this process and we're talking about it, is there any way for us to stop them and say, wait a second, you can retire. We're not filling your position, though, until we decide how we're going to have our process be done for a replacement? To me, that would be the appropriate response. To me, that would be the best course of action. with a Kansas Supreme Court that has the #1 worst record in the nation for overturned cases when they go to higher district courts and Supreme Court at the federal level, with the worst record in the nation, we probably need to reevaluate how we do nominate our Supreme Court justices. And with that, we probably need to say, before you nominate and do the same process that's burnt us, and shot us in the foot for years down the road, we should probably wait and then decide what we're going to do later. And this is, we had a call before. Andy, would you say this if it was a Republican? I absolutely would say this if this was a Republican governor. Absolutely. Do the process that everybody else does that is showing all three branches of government being involved, a checks and balance system here. But now there's already two gone. There's a 9-court membership there. 2 of them are gone. I have a feeling, and others have feelings as well that I've heard with the rumors tweet behind the scenes, that there's going to be more of them, at least 2 others that may retire before the process is actually changed. Why? Because they're scared that it actually will. They're scared it'll actually go through. They're scared it'll actually happen. And they don't want to lose that power. They don't want to lose that iron grip control of the progressives controlling the Kansas Supreme Court. Because they're desperate. So what way to do it? Load up the courts for the next 30 years. 2 of them already now. Lawton Nuss, Lee Johnson, both of them retiring. Governor Laura Kelly gets to choose them. Republican Senate, 0 oversight and confirmation or interview process in any way, shape, or form. This is what's going to happen. We should be very concerned about this. You want to talk about elections having consequences? This is prime example of elections having consequences. Oh, I didn't like Chris Kobach. He was mean. I'll tell you what. The effects of not having Republicans turn out and voting for Chris Kobach because of maybe one singular issue. He's not on pot, man. He's not supporting marijuana. I won't support him because he's not for pot. Okay, great. Now you get liberal court cases and liberal judges making bad decisions on the courts for the next 30 years because of Governor Laura Kelly being on the Supreme Court, or of being in the governor choosing members for the Supreme Court. Elections have consequences. That's what it's all about. And there's nothing we can do about it. Zero, zilch, nada, nothing we can do about it. And I don't know if history actually proves anything, or if a record or reputation, holds anything dear, but I don't know if you're aware or not, Governor Laura Kelly's not the best at nominating individuals. She's not the best at nominating people. She's already had 2 individuals that should be very easy positions to nominate for, a very quick process to vote and approve and interview and be done with, and 2 of them had to be backed off, and she retracted them because of a bad history that they've had, because of a bad record that they've had, because of bad things that they've said, because she hasn't quite figured out the vetting process yet. So now all of our, at least 2 now, Kansas Supreme Court justices are going to be in her hands when she's got so far a pretty bad reputation in nominating individuals for different seats, either on the court or different positions for agencies here in the state of Kansas. I'm just saying, she's not having the best batting record right now. And now it's in her hands to choose from certain individuals to pick one for the Kansas Supreme Court. Because elections have consequences. Now, I'm not rubbing it in and saying, I should have voted. I'm just, hey, this is what we choose to do. This is what we choose to do. But for individuals who are on singular issues, and that's your one particular issue, and that's it, now we have to suffer those consequences because of that. 9 counties that nominated this governor, and now we get to choose this. So now we have 2 Supreme Court justices that are going to be replaced by very far-left progressives from Governor Laura Kelly, and they'll be on there for the next 30 years, and maybe another 1 or 2 more before we get to change the process. And by the time we change the process, no one will be up for retirement anytime soon. So we'll have to wait a while until we get another chance to actually use our brand new system of nominating new Supreme Court justices. We still need to do the process, and we better fight for it, and I really hope it goes through, and I think it will go through with our quasi-Republican legislature that we have. And I use that term very vaguely because we do have a Republican majority, but half the Republicans don't like to vote with Republicans on many issues, so there is that. But with our quasi-Republican legislature, I would think this would go through with a change for a constitutional amendment, but then it would go to you and I, and then we'd have to vote on it in our ballot for next year. And then we'll see whether it happens or not. I have a good feeling I think it would, but that doesn't do anything for the next 2 to 4 Supreme Court nominees that are going to be chosen with the old guard system. 316-721-8255. This just coming to light here within the last hour or so, last couple hours, really, is this posted at 11 o'clock on KSNT.com with Justice Lawton Nuss, the second one after Justice Lee Johnson, both of them retiring, one retiring September 8th, one retiring on December 17th, now leaving the Supreme Court and leaving that decision up to Governor Laura Kelly to find new replacements on those. That, to me, is an extremely scary position to actually be in. We'll take a bottom of the hour break. We'll shift gears a little bit when we come back. One of the decisions the Kansas Supreme Court's been talking about for years, as you know, has been education and what we do to change things, to talk about things, to find ways to make education the best it possibly can be at the local level. That's what the elections are all about, coming up with August 6th and with November, whatever it is in November, with our general election. In our local school board is what it's all about. So in studio with us coming up, we're going to be talking with one of the candidates for the at-large district here, Cheryl Logan, current incumbent for that seat, and current president of the school board for Wichita, in studio talking about what's coming up with the election, the platform, and how to move forward in making the education the best for the children we have around here. All that and more coming up on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center. Sprint and T-Mobile have been given permission by the government to execute their $26 billion merger. But correspondent Ann Cates reports there are still a few hurdles.
Sprint and T-Mobile combined would approach the size of Verizon and AT&T with 92 million subscribers. The merger is still the target of a lawsuit that says it will harm consumers.
White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow denies the U.S. is on a path to manipulate the value of the dollar, telling CNBC.
Just in the past week, we had a meeting with the president and the economic principles, and we have ruled out any currency intervention.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says as of now, impeaching the president is not one of her priorities.
A drumbeat across America. Lower health care costs, bigger paychecks, cleaner government.
The nation's economy grew at a 2.1% rate in the second quarter, slowed by trade disputes and problems at the Boeing Corporation. The Dow up about 20 points. I'm Mike Moss.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, and now when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving, built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
Mid-America Network News. Kansas Supreme Court Chief Justice Lawton Nuss plans to retire in December, giving Democratic Governor Laura Kelly a second appointment on the court. Nuss announced that he plans to step down December 17th after serving on the court since 2002 and as Chief Justice since 2010. He was an appointee of Republican Governor Bill Graves. Justice Lee Johnson also announced this month that he plans to retire September 8th. Johnson was appointed by Democratic Governor Kathleen Sebelius. A former Wellington band instructor has been sentenced to 16 months in prison for sexual exploitation of a child. Ben Olson was sentenced in Sumner County District Court today. Olson was suspended in November of 2018 from his position as a Wellington high school and middle school band instructor. He was dismissed months later. Olson had been with the Wellington School District since 2015. I'm Stephanie Austin.
It's Mary from Wildwood Cellars. Our pure elderberry concentrate is especially popular this time of the year, and people ask us what makes ours so much better than the rest, and I have to say it's how we make it, so that none of the good properties of the elderberries are ever lost. Nothing is ever dehydrated, and we add nothing to it. No sugars, syrups, alcohols, additives, or preservatives. Just pure concentrated elderberry with less than 1 gram of carb or sugar. So you can take it straight or add it to any juice or drink of your choice. Online at wildwoodsellers.com.
Hello. Although I am a registered Democrat voter, I am supporting Mark Gietzen for mayor of Wichita for many reasons. Mark's organization, the Kansas Coalition for Life, helps abortion-bound mothers with last resort financial assistance by enabling many young mothers just like me to keep their child by providing options that weren't available to them before. Mark and I want to make Wichita a sanctuary city for the unborn, and I hope that you support us in this effort. I also support Mark's efforts to clean up Wichita's water and to fix or replace all of the bad sidewalks in the poor neighborhoods of Wichita. Over the years, it has never seemed to matter to Mark that I'm a Democrat. Facts and ideas matter to him more than party labels, and he has always kept his word. Please vote for Mark Gietzen for mayor of Wichita on August 6th.
My name is Mark Gietzen, and I approve this message. Remember to vote on August 6th.
This ad paid for by Mark Gietzen for mayor.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. Mostly sunny and windy this afternoon, gusts up to 25 miles per hour, high today of 92. Clear tonight, windy, overnight low of 68. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 93 and more gusty winds. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 95, wind gusts up to 28 miles per hour. I'm Rich Summers, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
At 12:35, it's currently 86 degrees.
Hey, it's Brian Kilmeade, and join me weekdays at 8 a.m. right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
The fastest growing radio show in Kansas.
What? How's he do that?
That's what I'm talking about.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hoosier. Great to have you along for the ride today. You're doing your thing. I'm doing my thing. That's the way we roll. And appreciate you hanging out with us today. All over social media. We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live. We're on AM and FM, KQAMradio.com. We're on the TuneIn app as well. So you can pretty much find us everywhere. And if you can't, what the heck's wrong with you, man? Welcome in, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. We'd love to hear from you. Guest in studio, we'll get to her in just a second. But as you know, today's not just a Friday, not just a free-for-all Friday, but today is also a Fried Chicken Friday, which makes me hungry because it is lunchtime. And they have their lunch buffet going on right now from 11 to 1 at the Inman Harvest Cafe, 112 South Main Street in downtown Inman, just north of Hutch. Katie's on the line with us here. Katie, happy Fried Chicken Friday. How's it going?
Good. Hey, good afternoon, Andy. Happy Fried Chicken Friday. We're just I'm actually peeling hard-boiled eggs as we speak.
Peeling hard-boiled eggs. You know, that is that is a very important task, especially because you guys not only have like the fried chicken and everything, but you have your salad bar that's there all the time, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Our salad bar is there every day, and it's got these hard-boiled eggs are farm-fresh eggs. We get all our eggs from a farm just outside of town here.
Okay.
So they're brown eggs. They're beautiful. And then most, but not all, but most of our vegetables on our salad bar right now are garden fresh vegetables. We got peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes out there that are all from people's gardens around town here. So
it is that time of year.
It's actually... Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's nothing better than a garden tomato. Nothing.
That is very true. That is very true. Well,
Yeah.
good. Well, you guys are rocking that, and with the fresh salad out there with all these stuff from the fresh gardens around that area, even makes me more hungry. But we got to remember, I mean, today's Fried Chicken Friday, so along with the salad, here's what you do. You get the fried chicken, you get the salad, you put it in a tortilla and smother it in ranch. How about that? Yeah. There you go.
Okay, we'll do it for you.
That's right. But what else is on the slate? You got the fried chicken, you got the salad, you got the roast beef tonight. What else do you have going on?
Today we made our very popular barbecued meatballs, so we've got a bunch of those going on. We've got a Mexican casserole, and then if we've got time this afternoon, we'll do a corn casserole.
Okay.
So,
what is a corn casserole?
Well, this one's got bacon, and see, we love bacon here. So you start with bacon, and you crunch up, you cook up some bacon real crispy, and it's bacon juice. We don't call it fat. We call it bacon juice.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
that is,
so
it
you
is.
take your
It is
bacon
bacon
juice.
juice. I like that.
It's
Yes.
bacon juice, yeah. And then so you take your bacon juice and then you add a little flour to it to make kind of a paste, and then you add a little cream cheese to that, and some paprika, smoked paprika, and some other spices, and you make kind of a gravy out of that, and then you add cooked corn to that, and then you sprinkle it with bacon bits.
That's what I'm talking about. That
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
amazing.
That sounds amazing. Now, you have the lunch buffet going on right now, 11 to 1. You're going to take a break. You have your dinner buffet 5 to 8 o'clock tonight, so that way everybody can head out there for the evenings. Fried chicken tomorrow as well with what's left over there. But the big stuff going on tonight, you have your free slice of pie that you always make with all the homemade pies. What kind of pies do you have today?
Today we've got coconut cream, chocolate, peanut butter, cherry cream cheese, peach crumb, banana split, custard, and bumbleberry.
Bumbleberry's what I'm talking about, baby. And for those that don't remember what bumbleberry is, what's all in the bumbleberry pie?
Bumbleberry is strawberry, raspberries, blueberries, rhubarb, and apples.
God bless America. That's what I'm talking about.
And Nick says he'd make it just for you.
Yes, yes. Well, you know what? I love hearing it on the radio, and I know that, I tell you, people's ears perk up when they say the bumbleberry, too. I've had a couple emails saying, oh, bumbleberry, I'm headed up there tonight, baby, because I'm going to get some of that bumbleberry tie. Yeah.
Get to coming up. We'll have it cut up by the time they get here.
That's what I'm talking about. It's the Inman Harvest Cafe, 112 South Main Street, downtown Inman. Katie, you guys have so much fun today. It's going to be a blast up there with your Fried Chicken Friday. We'll check in with you again next week.
All right. Thanks, Andy. Talk to you later.
Very good. Always a pleasure right there. Brought to you by the Inman Harvest Cafe, 112 South Main Street in downtown Inman, just north of Hutchinson. All right, let's shift gears a little bit here, shall we? It's time for us to what?
It's time to get to know the candidate.
Get to know the candidates as we go into election season, and August 6th on Tuesday is the primary for both the mayor's race and for the at-large district for the Wichita School Board. As you know, the local elections, the important ones, the ones that matter in our communities, and this is where it all happens. And in studio with us, the incumbent for the at-large district, Cheryl Logan, is here with us. Cheryl, how are you today?
Hey, good morning. I am wonderful. Thank you.
I really appreciate you coming in here. It is so important, and we try and push this all the time, the local activism, the local community, the local elections. I mean, the presidential stuff next year is fun, but this is where it all comes down to and where it all matters, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is all about kids in our area because Wichita is a district of 50,000 kids, and all of that is controlled by the school board. So school board elections are very important.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about yourself. You're the incumbent. You have the seat already. You're the president of the school board so far. So talk about a little bit of your background.
My background, I'm an educator. I've got 3 college degrees. I worked in the Wichita Public Schools. I was a teacher. I was a principal. I retired out as an assistant superintendent.
Okay.
Then I went to WSU and was the assistant dean in the College of Education out there. So I've seen education my whole life.
Sure.
And when I left the university, I ran for the school board. And I've been on the school board now for 8 years. So we've got great things going on, and I want to continue them.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about that. Where the district's been, kind of the stuff you guys have been working on, and what's kind of the vision that you've seen going forward in the next few years?
Well, the first 6 years that I was on the board, I had to cut the budget every year to the tune of about $90 million. So the last 2 years, we've had some money from the state, and we've decided we really need to be intentional as we begin to build what we want. So we started off by developing a strategic plan, and there are 4 major goals in that strategic plan. Making sure graduation students are graduating from our schools, looking at 3rd grade reading proficiency, adding in career and tech ed along with college bound, so that our students can move right from the doors after graduation right into the workforce and get a good job. And then safety. Safety is critical.
Sure.
So that strategic plan is our driver in the district now.
Yeah.
And it's the first year we hired a new superintendent. She did the listening. We developed the plan. The second year, which was last year, we actually started implementing. And we see that it's working. The number of students that we had graduate from high school this year is the largest number that we've had since 1976.
Wow.
So we're putting things into place. I want to continue that. my work's not done.
Sure. You mentioned at the beginning there's some of the budgetary issues, and I know it's been kind of a state debate on the amount of money going into education and where we're getting the money. And I know there's been some argument for the Supreme Court and the legislature and that whole battle. And you guys have been kind of stuck there with whatever money comes in to try to appropriate that. What kind of cuts, when you talked about some of the cuts, what have you seen as a cut in the district? What have you had to cut? Has it been extracurriculars? Has it been teachers? I mean, what have you guys had to kind of consolidate?
Well, we had to cut out many of our programs that help students that are falling behind, like the Metro programs. We had to cut back in all areas. Every area took a hit. We looked at our teachers, and unfortunately, we couldn't give them the kinds of raises that they really deserved. So we've tried to make that up as we've had money these last 2 years. When you cut that much money, $90 million out of a budget, everything is touched. We had to drop driver's ed. We had to do things that I really didn't want to have to do, but you got to find the money somewhere. We had to balance the budget.
Mm-hmm. Now that we're moving forward and you are seeing high graduation rates, are we seeing the same when it comes to test scores as well? ACTs, SATs, just high school graduate, along with the graduation, but the actual big scores as well. Are we seeing those go up too?
They're going up slightly, and I expect that to start jumping as we begin to get more kids coming through the system with the new plan that we have. We are now testing every student on ACT scores, where it used to be very selective. You decided if you wanted to take it or not. Now we're giving everybody that opportunity. So we are going to get a much clearer picture of how this is working in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We're talking with Cheryl Logan here, incumbent and candidate for the at-large district for the Wichita School District. Talk about some of the talk about magnet schools for a second. My daughter goes to Price Harris. She's about ready to go into kindergarten, and I know magnet schools are a great opportunity for a lot of the choice, the application to try and get into some of those. But talk about what the magnet schools are and the difference that is from one of the regular public schools.
Well, all of our public schools have a curriculum, but the magnet schools have a theme on top of that curriculum. So they do extra things. For example, if you're a leadership magnet, you're doing extra things to provide leadership for your kids. Or if you're a STEM magnet for science and technology and engineering, you're doing those kinds of pieces. So it's over and above and tied into the regular curriculum of the schools. It gives our parents choices for their kids so that they can decide what's the interest of my child and how do I help meet that. And they have been highly successful in our district, and we certainly are going to continue those.
Sure. It's a really great program, and I am really happy that my daughter was able to get into one of those and see some of that as she goes to Price Harris and seeing that area there. Going a little bit further, I know some have talked about ideas of like school vouchers and trying to tie in private schools with some of the public school for even more choice and that sort of thing. What do you think about those ideas as we continue to grow educationally around the area?
Well, there's always been private schools, and parents have that choice, but they're expensive.
Sure.
We want to provide the very best public education that we can for our students, and I think we have that opportunity. We're very much honed into where we want to be and how do we get there, and we're tying our budget to it. Everything's pointing us in the new direction. And it's, we will always have private schools, and that's a good choice for parents.
Sure.
But the public school needs to be a good choice for parents as well,
Sure.
and it is.
When it comes to the local curriculum, when it comes to maybe, books that we're reading or the way we do math problems, I know some people talk about like Common Core standards that on the right side of the aisle people are concerned about. And I don't know, do we have Common Core? Do we have those types of standards around here? How do we work those types of standards?
We have state standards.
Okay.
And we follow our state standards. We are going to be putting in a grading system that grades us on our state standards, so we're sure that we're actually teaching exactly what we need to be teaching in our schools.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a piece that we've been developing. We're going to roll out the report cards this year for elementary. Next year it'll be middle, and the following year it'll be high school.
Sure.
Because we have to have a very high rigor in our schools. And that by teaching to those standards, we're getting the rigor on each grade level that we need so that kids are ready for the real world.
Sure. Going from teacher that you have been and then moving up to, with the school board now, have you seen a change in a lot of the way class is done from Now we have the technology and the iPads, and now we're building apps, which that's way above my pay. I don't know how to do that, so seeing kids do that fascinates me. But have you seen a lot of that progress from the basics and the math tables and the mathematics that we've done to now, hey, now we're going to be building apps on iPads and that sort of thing?
Well, we live in a different world than when I went to school or when you went to school.
Sure.
Our world demands that our students are able to think and process and understand information, not always memorize information, because we can pull out a smartphone or a computer and find anything we want within a few seconds.
Sure.
So we need them to know when they get that, what do they do with it? Because that's the world they're going to live and work in. They need to know how to use technology. They need to know how to go to work on time.
Sure.
And all those pieces are critical pieces for tomorrow's world that our students are going to be working in. So that's what we're teaching them now and how we're aiming our district to be able to prepare students for the 21st century.
Absolutely. Moving up to the higher education, the seniors, the junior seniors that are looking to graduate, move on to either higher education in college or go into the workforce or even trade schools. Do you see opportunities for us to work on that integration, either to finding the proper school, finding the proper direction they want to go, or even saying, hey, you know what, trade school may be your best option here if you want to go and do something like that, if you want to get into the workforce, but finding diverse different options for kids when they graduate?
We actually do that before they graduate. We have 26 different career and tech ed programs in the Wichita schools where a student can study to be a CNA, go out and work directly in our hospitals, where they can be a mechanic, where they can be work on cars, where they can learn about agriculture and then move on into that area. There's 27 different kinds of programs that students can choose based on their own interests.
Sure.
And if it doesn't happen to be at their high school, they can take classes in the morning in their high school and move to the other high school where that program is in the afternoon, or whatever works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have to prepare students. Not everybody wants to go to college.
Sure.
And we have to prepare them to be able to go out. We partnered with Spirit and Textron to put in one of our strands as so that they could go directly from our high school graduations straight into the aircraft factories and earn $30 and $40 an hour. They have the certifications that they need. They know how to work on their floors. They've had mentoring and training in that. So we're working there now because that's the world we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. It is really important. On the front, although, if they do want to go to college, I know, and I went to high school in Colorado, we had like college prep classes, advanced prep classes, to where you could get college credits for those in high school. Is there programs like that here in the Wichita area as well?
Absolutely. We have the IB program. We're starting a brand new program at Northwest High School this year where the kids will start taking college courses in high school. They will graduate with a high school diploma and at least 52 college hours from Friends University when they graduate.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be halfway to a 4-year degree.
Wow.
And we also have a lot of advanced placement courses. We have kids who are college bound graduating with 12, 15, 18 college hours when they graduate from high school.
Sure.
And that's tremendous.
It really is. It's nice, especially, and we talk a lot about the higher education and how it drives me nuts. The first 2 years of a 4-year college is the same stuff that you did in high school. And to me, that's a waste of student loan money, and that's a waste of time. And, I want to get into college. I want to be at that proficient level and be able to go on with the degree that I want to. So it's nice that we have those. Last question before we let you go. We're talking with Cheryl Logan, candidate for the Wichita School Board, the at-large district, current incumbent for that seat. But looking at enticing more people to come to the area, and we talk about job growth, economic growth in the area for the county and for the state, but to entice people to say, you know what, this is the school district that I want to bring my children to. What would you like to see, and what would you tell them to say, hey, you know what, this is the school district that you're going to be very happy with with your children coming here?
I think if we have our schools safe for every kid, if we have the career and tech ed pieces that we need along with the college-bound coursework, if we have every kid reading proficiently at the end of 3rd grade and therefore moving up and being able to process information, and if we have a high graduation rate, then we've got to sell and sing our song, because we are a premier district in this area. And people think because we're large, because we have high poverty, that we're not a good district. That is absolutely not the truth. Go into any of our schools, you will feel safe. You will see kids learning, And that's what we want schools to be all about.
There it is. Cheryl Logan, candidate for Wichita School District, current incumbent for the at-large district. If people would like to reach out to you, get more information on you, how can they do so?
You can go to my website, which is CherylLogan.com, and you can reach me by telephone. My numbers are all published through the school board, so I love to talk to people.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you coming in here. Good luck on the campaign and going through. If you get through to the general election, we'd love to get you back in and chat again here a little bit later.
I would love it. Thank you very much.
Hey, appreciate it very much. Let's take a break here. 6 minutes to the top of the hour. Open lines to you when we come back right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Market information from Mid-America Ag Network. Corn and the Kansas City wheat continue to struggle. Soybeans are still in the green. August soybeans up 4 at 886.5. September soybeans up 4 1/4 at 892. The back months are all green also. August soybean meal 30 cents higher at 304.20. September is up 50 cents at 306. August soybean oil is 23 points higher at 28.50. September soybean oil 24 points higher at 28.65. So a good look across the soy complex. However, as we get back to corn and Kansas City wheat, things not quite so rosy. September corn down 4 at 414.5. December corn down 3 at 424.5. September Kansas City wheat 5.5 lower at 432. December KC wheat down 4 1/4 at 450.75. So while the soybeans are doing nicely, corn and Kansas City wheat having some issues. We continue to be sharply mixed in the livestock complex. August live cattle up 17 at 108.82. October up 2 at 109.92. But then things get a little dicey, and we see sharply mixed numbers through the remaining months. August feeder cattle up 70 at 143.50. September feeders up 37 at 143.60. Again, the back months are mixed, mostly lower. Looking at hogs, things are much better for hogs than they are for cattle. August hogs up 17, 86.12. October hogs up 77 at 79.42. And all the back months are also higher. So a good look for hogs as we roll through Friday into the early part of the afternoon. Mixed numbers with the livestock complex all in all. Cotton is mixed as well. October cotton is 22 points lower at 63.59, while December cotton is up 10 at 64.29. So we've got some mixed numbers in cotton too. Crude oil is trying to rally. September crude is up a penny currently at 56.03. The back months are all down. Market information, Mid-America Ag Network.
We're out here at Rusty Eck Ford. A lot going on. 7310 East Kellogg. We'll be out here from 11 to 1 doing a live remote broadcast. Come on out and see us. 7310 East Kellogg. Out here with Mike Sell. Mike, this is something that you're going to have to come out and see for yourself.
Hey, I got to tell you, Rusty Eck Ford, everybody knows that Price sells cars. Everybody knows that we've been in business for over 60 years, and that's because of you, because of our customers. We've got the best customers, and we get that because we provide the best customer service. At Rusty Eck Ford, you're going to find what you're looking for, no matter if it's a car, truck, SUV, minivan, new or pre-owned. In fact, we have over 200 pre-owned vehicles in stock, and they are all priced to move quickly. At Rusty Eck Ford, you can find a pre-owned vehicle for as little as $4,900, but you're going to find anything that you're looking for, whether it be Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, Nissan, Honda, even Mercedes, BMW, Cadillac, whatever it is you need, we're going to have it here at Rusty Eck Ford. And oh, by the way, don't prejudge your credit. Get on out here to Rusty Eck. If somebody else has told you that we can't help you with financing, Rusty Eck Ford can help. We've got lenders on hand that want to help you drive home a vehicle today with as little as no money down with approved credit. So Rusty Eck Ford, we are here to help you make a deal. Come in and let us know what you need. It's the last week of the month. We're going to do everything we can to make that deal work for you on your terms so you can drive a vehicle home now. New, used, or anything in between, Rusty Eck Ford has got you covered. Remember, Price sells cars, and at Rusty Eck Ford, we're going to sell a lot of them. So come on out here and see us at 7310 East Kellogg or check us out online at rustyeckford.com.
All right, just a couple minutes at the top of the hour as we wrap up hour number 2. It's crazy how fast this show goes. Hour number 3 right around the corner. Thanks again to Cheryl Logan coming on the program, current incumbent for the Wichita School Board and current president of the school board and a candidate for the at-large district Appreciate her coming on the show. We've already talked to Trish Heilman. She came on earlier in the week. We're going to talk to some of the other candidates as well as we get an opportunity to do so going into the August 6th primary election. Coming up in hour number 3, we're going to continue on with our what?
It's time to get to know the candidate.
Yeah, we'll do that here coming up as we have Brock Booker, candidate for the mayor's race, coming on the show as well. And we'll look forward to chatting with him in just a couple of minutes. And also a reminder for you that we do have our KQAM Wichita Mayoral Candidate Forum coming up on Monday at the Mary Jane Teal Theater at Century 2. As we'll be hosting it. I'll be emceeing it. Jim Price, host of the Jim Price Show, he'll be moderating it, but we'll get all the candidates out there and chat a little bit as well. We'll broadcast it on the air. We'll do it on Facebook Live, do all that jazz, so that way you can listen to the candidates and what they have to say. So coming up, we'll chat with one of those candidates right away. Brock Booker, candidate for the Wichita mayor, will be on the show in the next segment. Until then, it's time for you. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hour number 3, The Voice of Reason, coming up.
Smith's Gold is an OSU product developed out of the legendary Gallagher variety that's sure to pin down many challenges that wheat farmers face. First, Smith's Gold offers better canopy hygiene, a later pull-off, and even better baking quality as affirmed by the Wheat Quality Council. Smith's Gold also provides Hessian fly and green bug resistance and has improved resistance to stripe rust throughout the growing season. It also provides desirable flavor in whole wheat products. Smith's Gold is another in OSU's Graze and Grain and Golden Grain wheat varieties. Log on to okgenetics.com to learn more.
When your car starts giving you fits, do what I do. Depend on AutoSmart to take care of it. They'll take care of it in a professional and timely manner, and it'll be done right the first time. If your engine or tranny is about to shoot craps, don't go looking at new cars. See Scott about a Jasper remanufactured engine or transmission. Jasper is one of the most trusted names in the industry, and they're still the home of the $99 brake job. AutoSmart, 5751 West Central, proud supporters of the Kansas
This
Honor
is
Flight.
a Steckline communication station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Phil's Coins, Kansas's largest coin dealer at 9344 West Central. Phil's Coins, buying, selling, and trading with honesty and integrity.
Authorities say a young girl remains hospitalized after a near drowning last night. Around 6:45 at Rock River Rapids in Derby, a lifeguard identified a 9-year-old girl in distress in the pool and pulled her from the water and began CPR. Derby Fire and Rescue responded to the call within 2 minutes. The girl was transported by Sedgwick County EMS in critical condition to a Wichita hospital. There have been no serious incidents at the water park since it opened in 2004. Rock River Rapids will be open today as usual. Wichita police say a 24-year-old man was arrested for driving while intoxicated and had an unrestrained child in the back seat. Jail records show that David Barrios was booked just after 1 this morning for DUI with an occupant under the age of 14, child abuse, reckless driving, and numerous other traffic-related charges. He's being held without bond. Officer Kevin Wheeler said that Barrios was arrested at Maple and Sycamore. It's time to check in at the sports desk. Here's Anthony Gorges.
Purple and black, the Kansas State alumni team takes the court tonight. They play at 8 o'clock. They will be taking on Team Colorado. The winner of that game will take on the winner of the Marquette Golden Eagles alumni team or Fort Hood. The semifinal game is on Saturday, July 27th at 1 p.m. The second semifinal game is the Aftershocks Wichita State alumni. They'll be taking on Sideline Cancer, the team that defeated the self-made Kansas alumni team on Thursday night. The second semifinal game tips off at 3 p.m. on Saturday. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Anthony Georges.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and Chekhov-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers, farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This moment of peacefulness is brought to you by Rusty Eck Ford.
Price sells cars at Rusty Egg Ford. Now at Rusty Egg, you can get a discount of $2,000 off every Ford F-150 in stock, and you keep the rebates up to over $6,200. That's over $8,200 in discounts and rebates. Plus, we'll throw in a new Green Mountain Grill with built-in Wi-Fi when you buy.
Save thousands on an F-150 and get a Green Mountain Grill? You bet. Your choice of a Davy Crockett smoker or a Daniel Boone smoker for your summer fun. And don't forget about our award-winning service. See what's going on at rustyeggford.com.
All rebates to dealer cannot be combined, plus tax and fees. Discounts from MSRP offer expires 7/30/19.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
Sprint and T-Mobile have been given permission by the government to execute their $26 billion merger. But correspondent Ann Cates reports there are still a few hurdles.
Sprint and T-Mobile combined would approach the size of Verizon and AT&T with 92 million subscribers. The merger is still the target of a lawsuit that says it will harm consumers.
White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow denies the U.S. is on a path to manipulate the value of the dollar, telling CNBC.
Just in the past week, we had a meeting with the president and the economic principles, and we have ruled out any currency intervention.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says as of now, impeaching the president is not one of her priorities.
A drumbeat across America. Lower health care costs, bigger paychecks, cleaner government.
The nation's economy grew at a 2.1% rate in the second quarter, slowed by trade disputes and problems at the Boeing Corporation. The Dow up about 20 points. I'm Mike Moss.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Looking at some negativity when it comes to our corn and Kansas City wheat continuing. Soybeans are still green. August beans up 3 1/4 at 8.85 3/4. Soybean meal and soybean oil are up as well. September corn down 4 at 4.14 1/2. December's down 3 at 4.24 1/2. September Kansas City wheat is down 4 3/4 at 4.32 3/4. December is down 4 at 4.51. As far as the livestock complex numbers go, still mixed. August live cattle up 20 at 108.85. October up 2, 109.92. Some of the back months are down. August feeders up 62 at 143.42. September up 42 at 143.65. Once again, all the later months are lower. Hogs are good all the way down. August hogs up 17 at 86.12. And October hogs currently up 75 at 79.40. So mixed numbers across the livestock complex. Market information, Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Maximum Outdoor Equipment. All equipment outdoors, from lawnmowers to snowblowers. Just south of Kellogg on West Street. And online at MaximumOutdoor.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. Mostly sunny and windy this afternoon. Gusts up to 25 miles per hour. High today of 92. Clear tonight, windy, overnight low of 68. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 93 and more gusty winds. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 95. Wind gusts up to 28 miles per hour. I'm Rich Summers, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
At 106, it's currently 86 degrees.
Catch the latest news with Stephanie Austin right here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM. It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform, rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming.
There it is. Hey, welcome into the Voice of Reason. It's hour number 3 of the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side. KQAM, we are simulcasting as well on YouTube Live, youtubelive.com or youtube.com. You can check it out, KQAM. We'll get it through one of these days, I swear. Also on Facebook Live, go to facebook.com, go to Voice of Reason page, go to the KQAM page. Doesn't really matter. Watch us live there. Leave a comment. Say hi. We'd love to hear from you on there. On a What a Free for All Friday. Let's make it happen, baby. Come on. That means for you, whatever you want to talk about, it's open lines. I'd love to hear from you. I will be your political therapist. We'll work through it together as we do each and every week right here on the show. Come on, baby. Yeah, buddy. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools Hotline. I want to hear from you. This half hour of the broadcast is brought to you by Cheney Door. Have any garage door troubles? Don't worry. Visit them, CheneyDoor.com. We've got a handle on your ups and downs. It's CheneyDoor.com. Again, CheneyDoor.com. All right, thanks to Cheryl Logan coming on the show in the last half hour as she talked about the Wichita race for the school district. Now let's get into the mayor's race, shall we, as we get into the primary election on Tuesday, August 6th. So let's get to know a candidate. What do you say?
It's time to get to know the candidate.
And on the line with us here, candidate for the Wichita mayor's race, it's Brock Booker hanging out with us here. Brock, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good afternoon, Andy. I'm great. How are you?
I am living the dream, my friend. I appreciate you coming on the show very much so. It is getting down to the wire with this mayor's race, and I don't know if this is normal. I have not been around Wichita for a mayor's race before this, but
Really?
No, this is my first mayor's race in Wichita, so this is there's a lot of candidates. It's really exciting. How are you feeling going into the last week or so?
You know, I feel great, and I have to trumpet my horn a little bit here. We came in 4th place in the Wichita Business Journal poll.
All right.
Out of 9 candidates. So we have to acknowledge that, even though it wasn't a scientific poll, Andy, because there is a momentum and there is something going on in the atmosphere of Wichita that says change is on the menu.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot of different ideas for the city right now, and with seeing the the budget that's coming out, which I think is the prime time to talk about a lot of these issues with the budgetary things going on for the next year, with a lot of the entertainment and the building of the stadium that I know has caused a lot of conversation around it. There's as you mentioned, there's prime opportunity right now. So let's start at the beginning, Brock. Let's talk about you. Talk about your background a little bit, what you've done, and what's led you up to this point to want to run for mayor of Wichita.
Yes, I am a native of Parsons, Kansas. I attended high school there, Parsons High School, and then went on to Lebec Community College, and I transferred to Friends University. I came to Friends to study music and joined the Singing Quakers at Friends University. And Andy, I tell you, a world-winning experience, and the rest is history. Mm-hmm. And since that time, I've worked as a community volunteer, volunteering for a wide array with Fairmount Go Zones at Fairmount Church, serving as their choir director more recently, and music minister there at the church, and getting involved in a numerous amount of organizations, working with Democrat things and some Republican, and trying to be a consensus builder. I've also worked in retail in buying and selling for the Men's Warehouse Incorporated. Most of my time has been spent on the west side of town. And then I just have an interest in politics. And my uncle Marvin McKnight was the first African-American mayor in Parsons, Kansas. So it's a family trait, dabbling and being outspoken in politics.
Very good. I love it. Well, let's talk about some of the issues, and let's start off right now. As we mentioned, I mean, the budget's coming out, and we're seeing mixed reviews when it comes to the budget. We see property taxes that may be going up right now. We see some more spending. As mayor, what would you like to see when it comes to the budget? Do you want to try and cut some of it? Where would you like to focus on a lot of the spending, and what would you do as mayor?
As mayor, I want to resolve and address our transportation system. I have talked about this since 2015. I think if we're going to have a system, it is a pillar of our economy, Andy, where people are living more and more downtown. They're finding downtown as an epicenter for work and for play. And so how do we, not just only downtown, but the entire city, get a bus system that meets the needs of a 21st century city and not just a stopover place. For instance, my plan is to take money out of reserves and put it back into the system to have a bus going on Sunday. I think a lot of people would benefit from that work second and third shift at Spirit, and how we can get money generating. If people want to go to the store on a Sunday or just church, getting people from point A to point B and C back home is very critical.
Sure. Absolutely. Transportation is a big one for sure. With not only the buses, but when it comes to parking in the area as well. I know, especially with the discussion of the new baseball stadium, there's been a discussion about parking. Is that an issue that's high on the radar? Is that just kind of fix itself? What do you think of the parking and a lot of the other transportation issues downtown?
That is a big piece of it. The parking spaces. I was at some of the meetings with the walkability. Now we have scooters. I don't know how those are going to go in the wintertime, but all options are on the table when I take office, and I want to do some risk analysis with the budget to see where we are, and we don't know it comes January what all will be going on at that point. We know that we have a water treatment plant now that we know in a big way that we have to address that. We can't just throw money at it, but we have to address that. We have to beat that up and get a new system.
Mm-hmm.
And so money is not always the answer. And many times I think we've ignored that when we were told at Riverfest, oh, don't touch the water, it's dangerous. Well, that should have been a telltale sign that we have a treatment plant that is not up to snuff.
Sure. We're talking with Brock Booker, candidate for Wichita mayor right here in the Wichita area. Obviously, let's talk about some of the job growth. And we've seen Spirit Aerosystems, a lot of other aviation companies talk about expansion, hiring on more individuals. But for job growth, I know this is a partnership with the county and the state as well, and the state's been struggling on this level. But what can you do as mayor? What could the city potentially do to really grow some more jobs, to get some more people in the area, and see some expansion of some of the economic incentives around here?
They have done a lot of good recruiting. As I've talked to people on the trail, they've recruited a lot of people from out of state, and we have to continue that. We have to bring in the technology, high-tech component as well, and increase the infrastructure. And a part of my plan is housing. For medium and low income, we've got to get more housing in the mixture as well. So when people come, they've got some lower, more affordable options as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big piece to the jobs because we have more jobs than people. The mayor's right about that. But how do we continue to grow this thing, our local tax base? And I think that thirdly, part of my plan is small businesses, cutting red tape, making it easier to get the doors open downtown or wherever they want to open up a business or a clinic, and getting the communication out there to the people that if they want to come to Wichita to start a business, or because many of the jobs come from small businesses, as you well know, making that plain that they can come to City Hall and pitch their business plan and ask for the money or find out what grants and other sources of funding are available.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, let's go down that road as well. Let's talk about some of the taxes, as you mentioned. What would taxes look like under you as mayor and with the city council? Would we raise some more taxes in order to generate some more revenue to fund more things? Would we try and cut taxes for incentives to grow the area? What would your tax rates look like?
Well, that's a very good question. And I wouldn't necessarily want to raise taxes. I would want to lower property taxes if we could. And I know that gets often said, oh, I want to lower your taxes. But there would be the arts. We would have to possibly look at some things for the arts for Century 2 in particular, because that's very important to me as a performing artist. And I know everyone doesn't go downtown, but we have to strike that balance. I would propose possibly a quarter, maybe even of a raise on the mill levy. We'd have to look at a number of things, and the private sector would have to step up.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. The city has already allotted $100,000 to the Legacy Riverfront plan and the county as well. So we would have to look at maybe the state and some other partners getting involved in that effort. Also, I would want to lower rates as much as we could for small businesses. We're doing a good job. The mayor has done really good there. The chamber has been a good co-sponsor of a lot of initiatives downtown. So I would want to continue that work.
Sure.
In growing the downtown and growing down all of the other parts of the city. We're seeing the new water park out south. We're seeing things out east booming and, of course, west. So we want to spur on that and unleash the potential. And we've really got a great city here, Andy, as you know.
Absolutely. I mean, it's fantastic. And with the different things we can do to, as you mentioned, the business incentives and jobs that we have here in the area, there's tons of opportunity. There's talks right now of possibly knocking down Century 2, building up something new when it comes to entertainment value. Obviously, we're focusing on the baseball stadium right now as well. And one issue that came up in the last election for some of the city council districts about a year or two ago was, of course, the public pools and whether we're going to do swimming pools or have the splash pads. Your thoughts on some of that stuff, on where money should be invested in certain parts of the city, certain communities for the public, or whether those should be backed off on a little bit when it comes to city funding?
I am a proponent of the public pools. That was a hot button issue, especially in District 1 with McAdams. I'm a proponent of our public library system. And again, talking about communication, that's another way we could make things plain with transparency in the things that are for public consumption, getting that out there to citizens and to constituents. So it's watered down and it's understandable and available, whether it's Access Wichita is going to be a great resource and tool for people, whether it's bill pay or whether it was something that was just passed by city council, and getting the word out to the individual consumers and residents in Wichita, if that answers that. So I'm a proponent of some of the things that have gone on, and we finally got that. It took a while to get past the McAdams piece, but I'm excited for what is to come, and I'd be happy to, as mayor, to be able to set an agenda for the next 4 years that moves us forward, not just focusing on development downtown, but the entire city as a whole, and opening up opportunity for all.
Sure, absolutely. We're talking with Brock Booker, candidate for mayor here in the city of Wichita. Last question before we let you go, and this is kind of a personal one for me because this always bugs the heck out of me, and I don't know why. But the firework ordinances here in city limits where you can't shoot them above 6 feet. Come on, man. Can we get that turned around? Can we get that fixed?
I will do that, and I will put your name on it. I will call it the Andy Hoosier Ordinance.
The Hoosier Ordinance.
Wichita.
There we go. Shooting them as high as you want to make them in the city. I love it. Brock, if people want to reach out to you, to the campaign, have any questions for you, how can they do so?
They can reach out to me on Facebook, Booker for Better 2019. If you hashtag that in your search bar, you can reach the campaign. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, Booker for Better, for a better Wichita. Thank you so much, Andy.
Absolutely.
It's been an honor.
Oh, well, great. It's good luck to you, my friend. Good luck on the campaign. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Monday night with our forum for KQAM. And good luck if you go on through into the general election. We'll definitely get you back on the radio here again real soon.
Thank you so much. God bless.
Hey, there we go. Always a pleasure right there. That's Brock Booker, candidate for Wichita mayor here on The Voice of Reason. We'll take a break. 21 minutes past the hour. Open lines to you for the last little bit of the show. About a half hour left. It's open lines to you right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Ever pick up a ring of keys and wonder where they all go and what they open?
Or worse, spend 5 minutes trying to open a lock?
In the dark, late at night, during a downpour?
Surely there's a better way. And there is.
From deep within the Carey Brothers vault,
we unlock the secrets of the ages.
With tips heretofore known only by kings and pharaohs.
Kings and pharaohs had locks?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, says here, color-coding keys makes opening locks a real breeze.
Yes, sir. Just put a dab of the same color paint
or the same color adhesive dots
on keys and locks that go together.
Then, at a glance, you'll be able to find the one you're looking for.
No matter how many keys you have on your ring.
You can forget memorizing shapes and colors
and special names on various keys.
Now all you have to do is
tell Tell them, bro.
Connect the dots, and you'll be styling.
For more tips, visit our website at onthehouse.com.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
The brand new edition of Home Maintenance for Dummies is hot off the presses.
This new edition features the latest tips on how to tune up your home and make repairs to every part of your house, from the basement to the attic.
By combining step-by-step instructions and expert information, you'll learn how to conduct routine inspections, keep major systems running smoothly, and increase energy efficiency.
Home Maintenance for Dummies 2nd edition, written by us, the Carey Brothers, can be found at bookstores everywhere.
Home Maintenance for Dummies 2nd edition. Look for it today and get started maintaining your home tomorrow.
On the next Mike Gallagher show, according to reports, Democrat Jerry Nadler wants to go ahead with the impeachment of President Trump even after the disastrous Mueller hearing. Nancy Pelosi is still pushing back. Can the speaker hold back AOC, Al Green, and Rashida Tlaib, who are begging for an impeachment proceeding in the House? We'll debate it. Join us for that and more right here on the next Mike Gallagher show.
Mike Gallagher, tonight at 8 p.m., right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Truck owners, it's time to visit Toppers Plus Truck Accessories, Wichita's exclusive Lear dealer for truck caps and tonneaus. The new Super Duty tops are now available. The Lear Locker is the perfect gift for the outdoorsman on your list. Lear Locker is a ceiling-mounted storage system with a sliding drawer to organize your sport or hunting gear. It keeps your gear out of sight and out of the way. Visit Toppers Plus at 5511 West Central in Wichita or toppersplusks.com.
Make your truck work for you.
This is a last chance alert. It's happening. In just days, Publishers Clearinghouse will award $5,000 a week for life. Enter now at PCH.com, and you could win $5,000 a week after week, for life. This prize is guaranteed to be awarded on August 30th, so don't miss your last chance to win. Enter at PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Award day is almost here. August 30th, you could win $5,000 a week for life. Go to PCH.com now. Entries due 8/27. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Hello, my name is Mark Gietzen, and I'm running for mayor of Wichita. I am a Marine Corps veteran, the owner of Gietzen Aerial Services, the president of the Kansas Republican Assembly, the chairman of the Kansas Coalition for Life, and a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I love Wichita, and I want to see Wichita prosper and grow. The best way to assure a thriving community is to attract growing businesses, which in turn provide good jobs. The best way to attract and keep great businesses is to limit or reduce the tax burden on them, particularly the city portion of property taxes. I will never raise your taxes. Wichita is a beautiful city, but little things like bad sidewalks, so common in the poor neighborhoods of Wichita, could easily be fixed for a small amount of money and would add dramatically to the overall positive image of our city. Please vote Mark Gietzen for mayor on August 6th.
Join me for Armed American Radio live Sunday at 7 right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
26 minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason on a Friday. It's a free-for-all Friday. Appreciate you hanging out with us today, doing the thing, advancing conservatism on a daily basis. I want to, we could crank this. You know what I want to see? I want to see like a whole bunch of people calling and be like, I just got a speeding ticket because I cranked your music. I went really fast. That's what happens. Thanks again to Brock Booker coming on the program. Good luck to him going into the race and the primary for the Wichita mayor's seat on Tuesday, August 6th. Make sure to get out and vote on that one as we continue to get to know the candidates. We'll continue to talk about some of those candidates and have more of them coming up. Next week, it's going to be full. I have like 2 or 3 guests every single day next week because it's going to be that crazy. So stay tuned in. Lots of candidates all across the board next week, and we'll look forward to chatting with all of them. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines on an open line to you. With that, let's go right to the phones here, shall we? Line at number 1. Good afternoon. Who's this?
This is James, Andy.
James, how are you, sir?
If I was any better, I would have to be twins, my friend.
What? That's a good day right there. That's what it's a Friday. It's beautiful weather out, and things are happening.
It is. It is. I didn't get a speeding ticket because I'm sitting in my kitchen. But
that's all right.
Well, I was bopping to your music, man. I was. It was good tunes.
I'm telling you, you got to, if you're in the kitchen, then that's when you start, cracking eggs, and then the eggs end up on the walls, and, things just start happening. So that's a good day.
Oh, you've watched me cook.
That's right. Oh, what's on your mind? You got some good stuff going on.
Well, I do. We do have some. Wichita and Sedgwick County have some good stuff going on, not just me. I missed you last week. I did get to talk to your buddy Jim Price.
Good.
He did an excellent job. I was fired up. I don't know if you heard the stats on the first week of the Sedgwick County Veteran Military Discount Card.
I haven't yet. How'd it go?
Well, let me tell you what happened. The first week, they issued 258 cards.
Wow.
Now, if you look at that as a 40-hour work week, they issued a card every 9 minutes.
That's outstanding. I love it.
Second week wasn't quite as powerful. They still issued 70, and even at that, if you count the whole 2 weeks together, every 14 minutes while they were open, they were issuing cards, which is a great program for the vets and the military here in town.
Good. That is wonderful.
I
news.
wanted to kind of bring you, I wanted to kind of bring you up to speed on what's going on with the program. The whole thrust of this thing that Tanya Buckingham and her staff there at the Register of Deeds office, and supported, of course, by our great county commissioners, is to get the veterans to register their discharge documents, their DD-214s.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's a critical piece of documentation. It's done free of charge, and the last year they only registered a handful of these. But by joining up with this military discount card and with my website, veteranbargains.com, they have actually issued they put on file a total of 145, which is more than 10 times what they did last year.
That's what I'm talking about. I love it. That is such a great program, veteranbargains.com, and you can check out and get all the discounts. And in the fact that we've gotten so many already in the first couple of weeks means that it is booming. I appreciate, again, everything that you're doing, my friend, and keep up the fight. And the fact that we're doing so well with this and people are responding is such wonderful news. We've got to go to the bottom of the hour break, my friend, but have a great weekend. I really appreciate the update on that because that is really awesome. That's what it's all about, my friends, right there in the local community. Stay here for the Voice of Reason.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
T-Mobile and Sprint have gotten the government green light to go ahead with their planned $26 billion merger. T-Mobile's John Ledger.
We are going to create a bigger and bolder competitor with a transformative 5G network.
With 92 million customers, the new combined company rivals the size of Verizon and AT&T. Iran's latest missile tests have gotten the attention of U.S. officials.
Under the terms of its international commitments, the Iranian missile tests are not banned, but the country's growing missile program is one of the reasons that the United States pulled out of the Iranian nuclear deal last year. Washington wants to see curbs on Iranian missile development. U.S. intelligence officials say the latest test fire was part of Iran's efforts to improve the range and accuracy of those missiles. Matthew Chance in Abu Dhabi.
President Trump is promising retaliation against France for adopting a tax on internet giants like Google. The Dow is up about 10 points. I'm Mike Moss.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we've bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax. We buy all the cars.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%. APR 4.22%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. 8.88% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 30.
On
Mid-America Network News.
Police in south central Kansas have arrested a mother and her boyfriend after two Ark City brothers went missing Tuesday evening and were found safe the following day in a field in a neighboring county about 15 miles away from their home. 32-year-old Stephanie Cloud and 37-year-old Anthony Riles have been booked for felony counts of aggravated child endangerment, child abuse, and misdemeanor counts of possession of marijuana and paraphernalia. The investigation indicates that the boys, ages 12 and 13, had escaped after being locked in their room. The two boys and their 14-year-old sister have been placed in protective custody. A 31-year-old man charged with rape at the downtown YMCA in Wichita was in court this week for a preliminary hearing. Keith Magoon was arrested in May on 1 count of rape and 4 counts of aggravated sexual battery. A judge ruled there is enough evidence to proceed, and Magoon has been bound over for trial. I'm Stephanie Austin.
You can't handle the truth.
Hi, this is Phil Martinez at Phil's Coins. At the shop, we talk all the time about honesty and integrity. And in our shop, we've decided that honesty means nothing without integrity. So what I would tell you is that if you didn't bring your coins to Phil's Coins, honestly, you didn't get enough money for what you have. Come see us at Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central, or online at philscoins.com.
Swing into summer at Wichita Public Golf Courses. It's the best value in town. Find a course for all skill levels, located conveniently throughout the city. Come meet our friendly staff and take advantage of the great deals. You can purchase a season pass to play all city courses at a reduced price. We have passes for singles, couples, and a junior pass. Don't forget, you can host your tournaments with us too. Ready to hit the greens? Just use the Golf Wichita app to schedule your tee time or visit golfwichita.com.
Hurry into the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event and get 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Modem must be activated within 60 days of purchase through the Ford Pass app on a smartphone and remain active for at least 6 months after activation. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 9/3/19. See participating dealer for complete details.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. Mostly sunny and windy this afternoon, gusts up to 25 miles per hour, high today of 92. Clear tonight, windy, overnight low of 68. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 93 and more gusty winds. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 95, wind gusts up to 28 miles per hour. I'm Rich Summers, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
At 1:35, it's currently 88 degrees.
I'm America's Digital Pro, Kim Commando. Join me for the Kim Commando Show Sunday right here on the Big Talker, KQAM, Wichita.
Your home for entertaining radio.
This is your fault, too, man. I keep missing Rush Limbaugh's morning update every morning because I'm listening to your show.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Hey, this is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hoosier. You're you, I'm me. You're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. We're just having fun. Wrapping up the show today on a Friday, which is hard to believe that the show's almost already done. 36 minutes past the hour. Dave Ramsey coming up in just about a half hour from now. Make sure to tune in for that for your financial stuff. Talking about all the money and things. Welcome in, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. It's open lines to you for the last half hour. And please do call in. I want to hear from you on really anything, not to mention I have a screaming headache right now. So doing talk radio with a screaming headache is really fun. Nonetheless, no, I'm feeling good. It's we're making through and having a good time doing it as well. But if I stutter a little bit, it's just, hey, there's some breaking news. Let's jump into that. What do you say? So if you are not at the Pachyderm Club today, this afternoon, that happens in the middle of the day, which makes it very difficult to do, if you try and make that and listen to the show at the same time. Although you could listen on your phone with the earbud in while you're listening to them talk and kind of get the dual thing going, which would be awesome. But if you didn't make it and didn't hear what happened, of course, we read the press release as of yesterday. Renee Erickson, the state representative for House District number 87, she has officially announced her run for the state Senate seat that is being vacated by Susan Wagle, as Susan Wagle's moving up and running for the U.S. Senate race. everything's kind of shifting there. And Renee Erickson is running for that new state Senate district, which means it's an open seat for House District number 87. And the official announcement coming out as of today, and her announcement at the Pachyderm Club today as well. We'll be getting the press release, and she'll be joining the show with us on Tuesday next week. But Susan Estes, wife of Congressman Ron Estes, has officially announced she will be running for the House District number 87 seat vacated by Renee Erickson with her run for the state Senate. So that's the big news coming out right now, is that we are seeing a shift and a new candidate rise up, and a great election that's coming up for next year. I'm telling you, next year's elections are going to be absolutely phenomenal. I am so excited with the number of Republicans we have running for the U.S. Senate seats. I am excited about it. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. With the state legislative seats that are happening, I think that we have a huge opportunity to really make the legislature more conservative. Because what are we seeing? What was the story we read last hour? Oh, yeah, that's right. Job business growth, actually the number one state, the only state in the entire nation with negative business growth last year, or 2015 to 2019. The only one. Every other state did actually relatively well. We did not. Why? Because of our tax rates, because of our regulation, because of the high punishment and oversight that our government feels like it has to do on businesses here in the state. So we didn't see any business growth. We need more conservatives. We have a Republican legislature in our state government, but we don't act like it. We have it, we just don't act like it. It's kind of like the kid trying to build up their confidence, like, hey, you can do it, man. You can do it. You're pitching, or you're going to be a shortstop, or you're playing football or basketball, whatever. You know what? There may be bigger kids. There may be kids that go to different schools, but you can do it. You have the confidence. You just have to show it. I loved sports when I was a kid. I had the worst confidence in the world. I really did. It took me a long time to gain confidence that I could be confident in the things that I do, whether it's sports, whether it's talk radio, whether it's, politics, whatever it is. I had the worst confidence, which is why I was terrible at, picking up girls. I was terrible. My wife, I tried to, show her that I was interested. She had to pursue me. She did, because I had terrible confidence. You got to show that confidence, baby. And our state legislature needs that. We need to have that pep talk with them and be like, hey, you can do this. You can cut taxes. I don't care what the media says. The media, being the bully here, the media doesn't dictate to you. You can be happy and feel confident in who you are, right? Maybe that's the pep talk we need to have with our state legislature. I mean, we have some solid conservatives trying to fight for it, and then you had the moderate, mushy ones that are right in the middle that don't want to raise taxes but don't also want to cut taxes, that want to raise spending at the same time but try and tell you that they don't want to raise spending. I mean, they vote predominantly on the left side of the aisle. With a Republican legislature, we're the flyover state that's supposed to be a deep red area. We're not a deep red area. We're kind of a purple state. So we need the pep talk. Just like you did with your kids. Hey, you got this. Don't listen to what they are. Don't listen to those guys. You do your thing. And when you do your thing, you're going to be proud of it. Stand up for yourself. Be proud. Be happy. What do we say with the voice of reason? Speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Do it, baby. Stand up. Fight for those tax cuts. You can do it. Who cares what the Supreme Court says? Those guys are just, black-robed opinionators. That's all they do. They interpret the law, and they try and dictate to you, and you can take it or leave it as you wish. Don't worry about the media. They're going to beat you up no matter what. Look at Brownback survived. He was the worst attacked guy in the world when it came to the media, except for maybe Donald Trump. But in the state of Kansas, definitely Sam Brownback. Chris Kobach's kind of a close second there, but Sam, and guess what? He survived. He's doing something he loves. He made it happen, baby. Fight, fight, fight. Don't worry about what the media says. Don't worry about the left-wing loudmouths that just yell and scream and try and protest. Are you seeing the protests going on at Sharice David's office, by the way? I mean, that's a prime example. Her own side of the aisle is angry at her. Sharice Davids, being the more progressive gal, representing the 3rd Congressional District. She's got her office there, and people are showing up. And first off, they're upset because the doors are locked and they're not allowed to go in and protest inside her office. Now, there was, according to the news story, Kevin Yoder used to be different, to where he would take all kinds of protesters coming into his office. They would talk to them, they would dialogue with them, and then they'd be leaving happy because they got to express their frustrations. Sharice Davids locked them out. He locked them out. on her own side of the aisle. She has protesters standing outside her office saying, shut down the ICE detention centers in Kansas. Now, that's out of her realm, and she can't really do that, so it's kind of silly, but it's her side of the aisle that's advocating for it, and they're the ones that are upset because they can't get into her office. Don't worry about those crazies. Don't worry about those nuts. Hey, state legislature, you can do this. Stand up for yourself. Get some more conservatives. And you know what? Having Renee Erickson take over that Senate seat is going to be fantastic. She is a solid conservative. I don't know if anybody's, I'm sure there may be a challenger or two, but Renee Erickson would be a solid candidate. Solid conservative would be fantastic. Susan Estes stepping in and jumping into that House seat would be fantastic. Would be a solid conservative. Needing another fighter. I was talking to some state legislatures throughout the show today on breaks and texting and chatting. Excuse me, and they had mentioned, we need her in there. That would be fantastic. We need another ally with us. And now we have an additional seat of a conservative in the Senate. We have an additional person in there fighting in the House if she ends up getting it. That would be great. We can do that. That's what we need. We need that pep talk. Maybe bring some of those moderate Republicans that don't quite know what to do, kind of the wishy-washy, trying to make everybody happy. Stand on what you believe in. Don't fall for the what's the general opinion want, what's the public opinion, what's the mass outcry for. Just do what you do. That's what people elect you to do. You are a representative. This is not a democracy. This is not you going back and saying, well, I'm just going to vote however the loudest group tells me to vote. No, you got elected to lead and to represent. Lead. Represent. Vote the way you feel best. And, of course, you're going to have people that like it, and you're going to have people that don't like it. But that's what a representative government actually does. 316-721-8255. But that's the breaking news happening at the Pachyderm Club. Renee Erickson officially announcing her run for the state Senate. And Susan Estes, wife of Congressman Ron Estes, has announced her run for the state House seat for District number 87. She's coming on the program on Tuesday next week. We'll get Renee Erickson on the show in the next week or two as well. But really looking forward to those races coming up in the 2020 elections. All right, I want to shift gears for just a second here. And as we kind of wrap up, I want to play, it's about a 3.5-4 minute audio bit. But there was a clip that was floating around on social media, and we've talked about this before. I think it's better from someone coming from that community that can speak to it a heck of a lot better. But I've mentioned to you, as we see presidential candidates and as they're talking about socialism and the free goodies and the free health care and giving you things and redistribution and taxing the rich and hating everybody and that sort of thing, as we have that message, I've mentioned to you before, I've said, how is that working out for communities that get to experience that type of behavior with government control? Not just Venezuela, not just Cuba, not just the socialist nations or communist nations around the world, but within our own borders, like Native American tribes. How well does that work for them with their health care, with the bad food that they get, with the bad housing that they have that's provided to them by the government, saying, here's your land and here's the stuff and we're going to feed it to you and you get to have your own government, you get to do your own thing, but we're going to supply everything and subsidize the entire thing for you because that's our reparations to you. You want to talk about reparations? That's what reparations looks like. How well does it work out for the Native American tribes? But I'm not Native American, so although I could try and claim I'm about as Native American as Elizabeth Warren, so I could try it. But let's talk to an actual Native American. So there's a video floating around that's about 3.5-4 minutes long talking about Native American tribes and socialism, and I thought it was really interesting. See what you get a kick out of this.
If you want to see an example of failed socialism, go to an Indian reservation. To those of you who would say that this country is better going in a direction of pure socialism, I ask you as a Native American, you've already placed us on reservations. Why place the rest of the country on one? My name is Michaela LeRae. I was born in Bishop, California, and I'm a member of a Southern California Native American tribe. In 1989, Native American activist Russell Means sat before the Senate, and he boldly paraphrased, if you want to see an example of failed socialism, go to an Indian reservation. If you go to Indian reservations these days and in the past, you will see impoverished reservations living in third world conditions, and they are a product of a dependent lifestyle, dependent on a government to appropriate funds correctly to them. That is what socialism is. That is where socialism will take us. And it will create a dependent society to where we have no independence anymore on what we can do and what we can't do. The government programs that are in place now to help the Native American, they didn't even need to be there in the first place. If they had let us keep our land and let us keep our way of life, we could have flourished as a people. But instead, the government thought it was best to place us on reservations and strip all of our freedoms away, one by one. And now we are dependent on those programs. Many of us have become addicted to the federal wallet. We sit and wait for the whims of appropriations from Congress, and unfortunately, that's killing us. To increase the tens of billions of dollars that we already have going towards Native American programs, which there are a lot, how would that solve anything at this point? These programs have been in place for a long time, and yet we still can go to a reservation today and ask them if they have running water. No. Electricity? No. Sewage? Quality health care? Quality education? All of these things are missing. So how much more money and how many more programs do we need before we find our self-determination and start fixing these things on our own? Government programs, more programs, that's not the answer. The answer is independence in every way of life for us, for my people. It's something that we need to tackle to remain an asset to this country. Indianpreneurship means that we promote a lifestyle of entrepreneurship for the Indian. Examples would be in Oregon, where 4 tribes have banded together to create a nonprofit fund to promote business plans and knowledge on creating business. Another would be in Alaska, where they are taking advantage of the Section 8 Small Business Loan Act program, and they are providing goods and services to the federal government. Many natives fear the aspect of adopting capitalism in the modern day, as they might lose their culture or their way of life. And I say to you, is there any pride in letting the government take care of us day to day? Is there any culture in that? Is that how we were before the white man came to our land? Is that how we should be now? We've been doing that for hundreds of years, and it's solved absolutely nothing. So it's time for a new way of life and new traditions. To when we look to ourselves to create, we look to ourselves for funding, we look to ourselves for the basic necessities of life. So those of you who would say that this country is better going in a direction of pure socialism, I ask you as a Native American, you've already placed us on reservations. Why place the rest of the country on one?
There it is. That's a really interesting video, and it really, I wonder if the Native American community is going to be starting the new, or joining at least the hashtag walk away movement. As you know, started off with the LGBTQ and some of the gay community saying we're walking away from progressivism and from Democrats because they're hateful and they're not helping the cause. We're going independent, we're going individualism, and we're going to join conservatism because of that walk away movement. Many in the African American community have joined that movement as well. I'm really fascinated to see if the Native American community will start doing the hashtag walk away. And walking away from the reservation mentality, walking away from the government subsidies, walking away from the government dependency. As she mentioned in there, a very interesting point. I've always been curious about that. Why? Why do you let the government dictate to you that? Why not give you health care and the electricity and the stuff? Why wait and have the government be providing that for you and you can see how well that's worked out? Why do that? And as she mentioned, there are many afraid of embracing capitalism, of embracing individualism in that sense, and that they would lose their culture, when in fact, as you and I know, as conservatives and as capitalists, we understand that by capitalism we get to embrace culture of what we want. We get to embrace Americanism all across the board with any type of culture or heritage or anything, because we get to express ourselves the way we choose to do so as an individual and as a community, all at the same time, under a capitalist idea that you get to represent yourself. Someone else does not get to represent it for you. It's a fascinating conversation, and it's really good. I'm so glad to hear that maybe there's a movement now of trying to get Native American communities to walk away from government dependency and to fight this crazy concept of socialism. And you would think someone like Sharice Davids from the 3rd Congressional District, who is Native American, who hypes it up and says that she's from reservations, that she's been there, she's done that, her family members have been involved in reservations, that she wouldn't be fighting with AOC, with Ilhan Omar, with all those other progressives that are advocating for socialism, because you would think that she's seen what socialism has done to her family, to herself, under socialist mindsets of a reservation, while she trashes it and talks about how poor it actually is run, at the same time she's advocating for that same philosophy and that same mentality at the federal level. I don't get it. To me, it doesn't make any sense. You would think that you'd be fighting against that. Be like, wait a second, look, you want reparations, African-American community? Look at how the reservations are. How well is that working out for them? No electricity, no food. Everybody's, a massive addiction to alcohol and cigarettes or tobacco. Massive health issues. And you know what? Taken care of by the government. Taken care of by the government because it's all working out swell for them, right? That's what reparations would look like. That's what government socialism would look like. And that's what the rest of the nation would look like if we allow Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and all the other lefty nuts to actually run the government the way that they choose to do so. We could all be in one big happy little Indian reservation that would look like absolute garbage. Got to take a break here, wrapping up the show. Stay here on The Voice of Reason.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Mostly higher in the livestock, mostly lower in the grains. Wrapping up Friday like that. Let's check the ag futures markets. Brady Charles at Schwieterman Incorporated is here with all the information. Good afternoon, Brady.
Good afternoon. Well, yeah, a little bit lower in the grain markets and mostly higher in the livestock. August live cattle were up 22 at 108.65. October up a dime at 109.90. December was down a nickel at 114.30. In the feeder market, August was up 77 at 143.72. Sep up 72 at 144.10. October up 37 at 143.57. August lean hogs were up a nickel at 86. I'm sorry, up 50 cents at 86.42. In the grains, September Kansas City wheat was down 5 3/4 at 431.5. Deese was down 5 1/2 at 449.5. March was down a nickel at 467. In the corn, September was down 4 1/2 at 414. Deese down 3 1/4 at 424.25. March down 2 3/4 at 434.5. August beans were down a penny at 881.5. Sep down 3/4 at 887. Nove down a half at 899.25. December bean oil down 22 at 29.01, and the meal down 70 at 309.10. Oats down 4 3/4 at 262 3/4. Cotton up 23 at 64.42. This has been Brady Charles from Sweeterman Incorporated. For questions on these markets, any other markets, and all your marketing needs, please give us a call at 800-272-9131 or visit us online at upthelimit.com.
Election season is here, and now's your opportunity to listen to each one of the mayor candidates for the city of Wichita. Hi, it's Andy Hoosier. Join myself along with Jim Price as we host your Wichita Mayoral Candidate Forum on Monday, July 29th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Mary Jane Teal Theater at Century 2. Listen to all the mayoral candidates talk about their platforms, topical issues for the city, and get you set for the primary election on Tuesday, August 6th. It's the Wichita Mayoral Candidate Forum, and it's only right here with the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM.
Hello. Although I am a registered Democrat voter, I am supporting Mark Geeton for mayor of Wichita for many reasons. Mark's organization, the Kansas Coalition for Life, helps abortion-bound mothers with last resort financial assistance by enabling many young mothers just like me to keep their child by providing options that weren't available to them before. Mark and I want to make Wichita a sanctuary city for the unborn, and I hope that you support us in this effort. I also support Mark's efforts to clean up Wichita's water and to fix or replace all of the bad sidewalks in the poor neighborhoods of Wichita. Over the years, it has never seemed to matter to Mark that I'm a Democrat. Facts and ideas matter to him more than party labels, and he has always kept his word. Please vote for Mark Geeton for mayor of Wichita on August 6th.
My name is Mark Geeton, and I approve this message. Remember to vote on August 6th.
This ad paid for by Mark Geeton for mayor.
Baseball season is in full swing. It's a good thing Matt secured his denture with Super Poly Grip. Now he can enjoy the snacks as much as the game.
Poly Grip. Hey, how are you? So great to see you.
It's that time of year when the family meets up.
Hi, come on. Get together, guys. family photo.
It's a good thing Jack cleans his denture with Polydent, so he can enjoy the whole day with confidence.
Polydent.
Hey, it's Dave Ramsey. Join me today live at 2 right here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM. Now back to the voice of reason with Andy Hoosier.
All right, just a couple minutes before we wrap up here to the top of the hour. Dave Ramsey right around the corner. I'm telling you, the movement is growing. The hashtag walk away movement is growing. There are people that are waking up realizing that, you know what, maybe republicanism, conservatism is not such a hateful thing. After all, maybe you can actually be an individual. You can be you. You're not part of a class. You're not part of an income level. You're not part of a race. You're not part of a gender. You're not part of a sexual preference or orientation. You're not part of a whatever. You are an individual, and some people actually kind of like that. Just as politics is moving from the grand national scale down to the local level, and things are starting to happen at the local levels again, the city, the county, the state, where the states are actually going to have more say, more power. Things are moving in that direction because people feel so lost. People feel so out of control. People feel like they're so frustrated with the federal level that it's going to start moving back down to the focus at the statewide and local levels. The same thing's going to happen when it comes to the attention of the individual. No more the unions, no more the groupthink, no more the representation from somebody else, but you, the individual, you're going to do it, baby. And we're going to be right here to be that catalyst to help move and lead that charge. Why? Because this is your show. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is the voice of reason here on KQAM. I'm out Monday for jury duty. Back at it on Tuesday. I'll be guest hosting, however, the morning show with John Wright. We'll be doing that next week as well. Until then, everybody have a wonderful weekend.
This moment of peacefulness is brought to you by Rusty Eck Ford.
Price sells cars at Rusty Eck Ford. Now at Rusty Eck, you can get a discount of $2,000 off every Ford F-150 in stock, and you keep the rebates up to over $6,200. That's over $8,200 in discounts and rebates. Plus, we'll throw in a new Green Mountain Grill with built-in Wi-Fi when you buy.
Save thousands on an F-150 and get a Green Mountain Grill? You bet. Your choice of a Davy Crockett smoker or a Daniel Boone smoker for your summer